Okay, give it a few seconds here, but I think we should be live. I don't know. Whenever I think it's live, it's just me talking to nobody for a couple minutes. So I'll wait for some reactions. Okay. Happy New Year, everyone. Glad to have you here. Decided against my better judgment to go ahead and try to do another one of these live streams. So if it drops out and you guys are talking amongst yourselves, hey, just keep doing that because you guys are the best at it. But yeah, no, I don't do these nearly enough. Like I said, I got spooked because I was talking to ℓ𝕬𝕣𝕚𝕤 and I dropped out and he had to host the chat, and it was very exciting, but it was very, very embarrassing, I do think. But I thought, hey, why not? Let's go ahead and do one of these. In case you guys don't know, there is a channel read along that started today for Magician Apprentice, which is the first half of this book. By Raymond Feist. Lots of people are already done, apparently. A lot of people had some time off during the holidays. They couldn't exactly wait. And now they've already told me, yeah, I can't wait to read Magician Master as well. So I knew that was going to happen. But like I said, read along. You want to make sure that you're thinking about the mini and not the one. So I decided let's go ahead and split it up just to be safe. Because, I think back to that Malazan read along where I sped things up and people weren't ready for that. So let's not do that anymore. So I want to make sure I do this one right, because I've done some read-alongs that haven't went well. I want to make sure this one goes well. So hope you guys will join us. You want to join the Discord? There's a link in the description below. It's free to join. Yes, it's overwhelming at first, guys, but I think that you'll find quite a community there. And it's one of the things I'm quite proud of in this channel. There's lots of things to be proud of, a lot of the connections and friendships I've made. But I like that I've given that community. I mean, there's people on the Discord who've never even watched the channel. They just needed a really good book community, and I was glad I was able to provide that for them, because in the end, when you have a community of people to talk about these books with, it makes it all that much more fun. Whole reason I started doing this, because I didn't know anybody, IRL that did this, that talked about these books that I read. So it's been quite an adventure, and as we're about to head into year number 7 here, I figure why not do a nice little new live stream here for the channel. I already got a couple super chats in here, so let me make sure I hit those first. Hey, Swamp Water, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you guys. That's just really awesome. I wish I could do more for you guys, but I'm happy that you are here. Thank you so much for joining. And this is from Timothy Zeiler. Mike, what movie is your most anticipated release of the year? What's kind of book to read and TV show you look forward to the most? Gosh. I think Dune Messiah comes out this year. If that's the case, yeah, that'll be it. If not that, it's Odyssey. The Odyssey. Christopher Nolan, Denny V, Tarantino, they're pretty much a appointment viewing for me. So those are always going to be the winner there. Most anticipated book, if Red God doesn't come out, probably the new Ronald Malfi. Become quite a Ronald Malfi fan. So I think the Hive that comes out here in the spring, that'll probably be, yeah, but I'm still hoping Red God does come out this year. TV show I'm looking forward to the most. I don't know. Every show that I love seems like it just goes on hiatus for 2 or 3 years now. I think House of Dragon season 3 comes out this year. I think that'd probably be it. I didn't hate season 2 like everyone else did, but I admit I might be a little more attached to the source material than others. But Timothy, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you. And thank you for being here, man. I do appreciate it. Let's see. Let's try to roll back here. I'll try not to be like my homie Brian here. Who's there? Hey, what's up, Brian? Thank you, sir. It's good to see you. He likes to get a good 3 hours behind his chat. I'll try not to do that. I'll try to move it a little swiftly. Don't be scared to ask the same question again, but try not to spam. Let everybody get a chance. Lots of Happy New Year greetings. Thank you, everyone. It's good to see you. Happy New Year. Hope everyone was safe last night and responsible. Hey, Calf. Really, really good to see all of y'all, with all your fingers intact, so if you play with fireworks, stuff like that, that'd be very, very preferable, I think. It's hard to turn the pages without fingers unless you're just an audiobooker. Do I have a book I'm hyped about, like with King Sorrow? Yeah, I mean, I made a video of the ones I'm most excited for this year. But for me, it's Red God. It's going to be Red God and everything else. If that does come out, I mean, that's Red Rising's maybe my favorite modern sci-fi series. So the conclusion of that, scary knowing that Pierce gets power off of his tears. But yeah, of course, I mean that would absolutely be my most anticipated if it does actually happen. Hey, just drop a comment in the introduce yourself thread, and someone will point you in the right direction. It's real easy to find. If no one's done it by the time I get there, just hang on, and I'll drop you a comment, lead you to that read along thread on the server. Like I said, it might seem a little overwhelming at first, but someone will always be willing to help you out there. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very nice. Very nice. Oh, Avatar 3. Here's the thing. I think, I like the Avatar movies. I know people Stranger Things and Avatar, it's a competitive sport on how much people can hate on them. I enjoy both. I think Avatar 3, I mean, Avatar really is just something that, like, my kids just love. I mean, it's like they're Star Wars. They're excited for this every time a new one comes out. It's kinda crazy to think the first one came out before they were born. But, they were thrilled to go, and, I think how I feel about this, obviously visually incredible. I mean, it's one of those things where, like, you first start, you're like, "Hmm." Big old CGI monsters and things like that. After about 10, 15 minutes, it looks so good, you don't even realize that it's CGI anymore, and I think James Cameron's one of the only ones to do that. With this movie, I felt like it was kind of there was lots of things I liked, like the spider stuff was good. I liked a lot of stuff, but I felt like it was just repeating some things from part 2, and that kinda bummed me out. It's like the Pyacon and, the Navi versus the Whalers. I was like, "That's I didn't need that a second time," and I felt like it was kind of recycling some things from the first story. But, Stephen Lang's always great. He's always just really good. He's really good in this, and I thought that the new villainess, I thought she was really, really great. I like the Ash Tribe stuff a lot. I wish they had done a lot more of that, much more than going back to Pyacon and the whales and all that stuff again. So, it's probably my least favorite of the 3, but it's still worth watching, I do think. But I'm hoping if we do get a 4 and 5, the story kind of moves away maybe from this one area. 'Cause we got the jungle in the first one, the water second one. I thought we were getting like volcanoes and stuff in this one, keep rolling through the elements. So maybe that was my fault having a little different expectations. But I do think it's definitely worth seeing it on the biggest and loudest screen you can, of course. And that's why James Cameron makes every movie makes billions and billions of dollars because he's very, very good. Yeah, see, Scott, welcome back to BookTube, man. It's good to see you making videos again. Missed that. I missed that. Cancel the plans to do so. Apprentice, tons of fun to start. That's great to hear, man. I only read the first chapter. Yeah, I thought it was funny that Pug was finding almost the dumbest ways to kill himself. Yeah, so my kind of protagonist there, I do think. There we go. Finally started Malazan. Hey, congratulations, man. It is a huge, huge step. And I'll lead that into the next question here. Yes, I am finishing Malazan this year. I did make that commitment. I will be finishing Malazan this year. And kicking and screaming if I have to, but I don't think I will be. It's been a longer break than I intended to take. But I'm happy to be returning. I might have to be visiting my own spoiler talk videos to remember everything. But like I said, I didn't really understand everything the first time I was reading it. Page 20. I'm on page 20, so you guys are probably ahead of me. I got bit by the writing bug, and that's been kind of dominating my time. I'm at 90,000 words in that story I'm writing, and I'm just while I'm writing a hot hand, I'm going to keep doing it, because I'm sure I'm going to hit a wall eventually and not be able to have the output that I have right now. So I have neglected the reading. Like it took me almost 2 weeks to read a Neil Schusterman book because I've been writing for hours every single day. So that's kind of slowed me down a little bit. But now what we're getting back, I go back to work on Monday and get back into regular routine. Should you read King Starter if you hate Stephen King books? I mean, I think they're different authors, but this is the one I feel like is the most throwback to his dad's style. So I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe you should start with a shorter Joe Hill book, maybe, and see if his style is for you. Then before you dedicate yourself to a 900-page clunker like that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Just read the Heart Shaped Box or Nosferatu and see if his style is for you. I think. Sorry, just we'll go. Great to hear it. Great to hear other people waited until today. I said I was going to start today, but lots of people, like I said, had some time off and they decided to go ahead and do it. Okay. Which should I dive into first, Sun Eater or The Expanse? Man, gosh, they're both really different. Like I think they're both intelligent science fiction. I know that if you're someone who's read like Ian Banks or Alistair Reynolds or something, you might think The Expanse is a little dumbed down. For me, I feel like it's that approachable science fiction, a believable future. You don't have to have a PhD in quantum physics to understand it, but they do let gravity be like a main character in that series. And I think that's very important. But I also think it's really about that ragtag group of found family in the Rocinante. It's something that I really, really grew to love about that series. And it's very good. And it has a satisfying ending. Sun Eater, I say it's going to be one of those when you reread it, I think you're going to pick up so much that you didn't the first time. And that's not to say you won't catch it the first time, but I mean, I admit to being very much a surface level sci-fi reader. So there's stuff diving deep into Sun Eater that people will bring up in conversations. Like I heard some of the things that gal, I was like, No, I didn't notice that. I never realized that. But again, that's a me thing. I'm just not besides Frank Herbert, I don't really dive deep into science fiction. I've read that 13, 14 times. But with me, it's just I've read so much Star Wars and things like that. I just want the pew pew spaceships, boom boom. I don't all that inner reflection and navel gazing stuff can get a little rough on me. But Christopher did incredible with that series. And now that I've percolated on here for about 2 weeks, I'm liking the ending more than I did when I initially read it. And I don't want anybody getting scared off by that. People saying it is endings are hard, man. They're really hard, and you're never gonna please everybody with it. You try to please everybody, you're gonna please no one. And, I think that it is absolutely one of those where we had our own ending in our head, and so if it didn't happen exactly like you thought it was going to, you might be a little disappointed. Now I wouldn't say I was disappointed. It was just some things I was still settling with. And I'm liking it more. The arrow is pointing up, and that's important, I think, when you reflect back upon the ending of a series. So to answer your question, it really just depends on what you're in for. I mean, if you're wanting something very deep and philosophical, Sun Eater's the way. If you just want some space adventure and some, space dicks doing crazy things politically in outer space, I think that the Expanse will be exactly what you need. It's really good. You'll fly through them, man. They're really not hard to read at all. If I had an extra month this year, what series would you want to spend the month rereading? Gosh, uh, I'm so against like rereads these days. I'm not sure. Rereading. What did I read this year that I like? I don't know. You caught me on that one. I don't know. I don't know. It takes something really remarkable for me to go back and reread it. If I had an extra month, I'd probably just read. I'd probably just get a head start on the things I had planned for 2026. Be joining the read along, but really guys requires reading. It's a gigantic series I feel like isn't talked about nearly enough. I was surprised by the outpouring of people that wanted to join this read along. I thought it would be one of those things people were like, I don't have any interest in that. Or they're like, you haven't read that yet? Because I got a lot of that. You haven't read that yet? Like the Wheel of Time guy, he hit me with you haven't read Magician yet? Noob. And I was like, man, I didn't read Wheel of Time until like, 7 years ago. So yeah, there are some things out there I haven't gotten to, and this one's been on the bucket list forever. So I'm glad it's finally happening. Glad so many others were excited to join because read along is only as fun as as much people you have to talk to about it. I do think. Okay, so Dune 3 is coming out this year in December. Okay, all right. I'll be curious to see how it goes. I feel like this could be the first one where when Denny made that first movie, he had this scene where it's almost like they were like breaking down like football film or something. He was talking about the scene with Paul putting his hand in the box, and he's saying every time he got stuck, he would say, "What would Frank do?" And I feel like he's starting to get away from that. Some of the changes he made with Chani in movie number two, which I understood, I knew they were going to do, but with the direction that movie ended, Dune Part Two, it makes me think Dune Messiah is going to be more embellishment than it is gonna be frank, I think, and that worries me a little bit, but again, I think Denny's a visionary, and I can't wait to see what he brings to the screen. Oh, thank you, man, I'm so glad. I'm glad it's a community that people found a good time with. My favorite work of nonfiction? Well, I've read probably about and this isn't hyperbolic, 20, 25 books on the JFK assassination. Complete nut about it. It's just way too much of there's way too much smoke here, for things. I can't say, exactly what I feel. I might get like the laser on my head and you guys, this feed just gets cut off. I gotta be careful when I talk about those things. But yeah, that would probably be something there. There's the killing of a president, Robert Groden is really good. If you're into that topic and you think it wasn't a lone gunman, I think that you might find lots of things in that book that really will open your eyes a little bit. But, I really stick to rock, biographies, and I say The Dirt by Motley Crue is probably the most fun I've ever had reading a book. It's absolutely but you wanna know what the rock star lifestyle was like in the '80s? Oh my god, man. Yeah, that's one of those books where you're like, "How are these guys still alive?" Nikki Sixx actually died at one point, so there we go. Awesome. Happy New Year, man. Glad to hear Magician is going good. I have a small channel around 850 followers. Are there differences between BookTube and BookTok? But any tips? I wish I could tell you more about Book Talk. I've tried it so many times. I don't think I'm the content that they're looking for. I don't sing, I don't dance, I don't do funny animations, I don't lip sing songs. and stuff. So I really my TikTok was really just me clipping stuff I do on the channel and putting it on there and see if there was an audience for that. And it was going well, and it's just like it just became too much for me. As far as growth goes, just keep on keeping on, keep trying, keep working. Really, there really isn't a magic bullet for it. You just got to stay consistent, and it's tough when people aren't watching. I know it's really really tough, but I say those first 500 are the toughest that I ever had to get. So if you're already creeping up on 1,000, you're on your way. This isn't going to happen overnight. That's all I can really say. It's not going to happen overnight. Just keep hustling. Hey, that's my hometown. Thank you, thank you. I mean, I've lived here longer than I live there now, but you never forget where you were born, right? Tell you tips to read Hamlet Shakespeare. Well, it's been almost coming up on 30 years probably since I read Hamlet. So I don't know. And that was because it was a school assignment. So yeah, I don't know if I really have any advice for reading that oldie English style. It's tough. It's tough. It's like reading poetry. I think when Philip and I did our reading of Beowulf together, that was probably about the toughest. And that was the prose translation by Tolkien, so I don't know. I don't know if I have anything to offer you there except I take your time. I don't know. I have not read The Sparrow. I did get the Broken Binding edition, so hopefully, eventually. The Netherlands, wow, the antennas are working good today, right? Yes, yes, he loved it. My oldest loved it. My youngest thought it was a little too long. He did think it was a touch too long, and he was just like, "Can we go get more popcorn?" But yeah, my oldest, he loves. Like I said, that's to him. He said like the MCU's. His words were like the MCU's dead. Avatar's the thing now. So he said he's about it. He wants. I told him that when the next one comes out, he will be a senior in high school, and that wears him out. But that's at least that's what Cameron said. Like, right now is saying, what 2029 is December 2029, so 4 years for the next one. If it does happen, it said dependent on this one's fine. The movie's going to make money, so it's really just going to be what Cameron wants to do. So I thought it was safe. I'd say the last episode, it gave me like a 6 out of 10. I felt like this season kind of gave me a 6 out of 10 when I was really hoping for an 8 or 9. I think season 4 was way better, like way more satisfying. I think that they used their time better because those groups were split up. They could tell better stories. Now they had everyone together. It was like there's so many people on screen. There's several times where I was like, I didn't even know Joyce was there. I had no idea she was there when she's got the hatchet. I was like, I didn't know she was there. So it's one of those things where I think there was so many characters, and once you put them all together, there was some that just stood there. They were just there just to be there. I was like, man, that table read had to be very, very depressing. Sitting down as an actor and say, wow, I've got like 4 lines. Awesome, glad I could make it. So I think that they letting that cast swell to the size it did was probably something that kind of shot him in the foot a little bit. But I don't regret my time with Stranger Things. It'll go down as one of my favorite shows of all time. I was tearing up at the very, very end, with the notebooks. You've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. It was very, very touching, and I enjoyed the journey. Wish they'd have got it out a little faster so these kids didn't look like they were 26, graduating high school. But again, these are things you just dealt with. I thought it was good, but I feel like that last season, it wasn't awful. Like I know a lot of people are just upset about it. Or Game of Thrones, man. It's not, guys. It's not even close to that. But it did feel very safe. They didn't take nearly the risks that they had taken in previous seasons. And I won't do too many spoilers on it. Just there was some things that really did surprise me about it. That I really thought some things were going to happen. Do I recommend the novel of the *𝕙𝕤𝕤𝕤? Yeah, absolutely. The novella, it's like 110 pages. You can read it in a few sittings. It's awesome. If you read any George and you know his style, I think you can fly through it really quick. I think it does. I think it comes out early, like February or March, I think. Yeah, yeah. So yeah. That and House of Dragon I'm excited about for sure. We're not gonna get new books from George, at least we'll get new TV shows, I hope. Yeah. Let's see. Yes, indeed. Indeed. El Reaper. Hail Libertas. Please try out Bentley Little, Stephen King highly praised them. Okay. All right. I've been trying a lot of new horror authors this year. It's been exciting. Hey, there it is. Hey, Spence, what's up, man? Good to see you, brother. Does the Magician book have a battle? I know that there's like an attack or something that happens in it, so I'm sure. I'm sure. My top 5 comics? Jeez. God, well, Watchmen, and Preacher, and Hellblazer are probably like my favorite 3 ever. And gosh, Lock and Key might be up there as well. It was Saga, but Saga kind of fell off, I think. So I just have to stick with, the traditionals, just Justice League is really what I grew up reading was Justice League. So there's no problem with the classics there. Green Lantern, the Jeff Johns run, like, Blackest Night, that whole run was amazing. So I've always been much more of a Lanterns guy than most people out there. I don't know if I could pick just like for a certain top five, but Watchmen, Preacher, and Hellblazer are definitely there, though. Definitely there. He just told me he was writing it, and he didn't have like a date or anything like that. After I reviewed it, he was very excited, that I liked the movie, but no, he didn't give me a date or anything like that. And I need a date. I definitely need a date. Some hidden gems: The Carpet Makers, Mockingbird, The Electric Force, and Vampire Tapestry. Okay, remind me of these when I'm not here, and I'll try to add them to my Goodreads. I have never read a Philip K. Dick book, so start throwing your rotten fruit at me now. Yeah, yeah, I felt like it recycled. It almost felt like a friend of mine said he didn't like it. He felt like it was a director's cut of part two, and I can see where he's coming from there. Let me clear my throat. Okay, gotta love live streams, right? Abercrombie Secret Devil should come out in May. Is the third after Red God, and 12 months for me in terms of my most anticipated. You're gonna love 12 months, man. I think you're gonna like it a lot. I can't wait to talk to you about it, honestly. Really. I didn't know that the sequel to The Devils was coming out this year, so good for him. That's awesome. So yeah, that's Abercrombie's gonna cut straight to the front of the line, no doubt, whenever that does come out. There we go. So I mean, I'm seeing a range of opinions on the Stranger Things finale, but there you go. Are you talking about Avatar? Yeah, I mean, I I get why people don't like it. I get it. I definitely get it. The no cultural impact argument, I get it. I absolutely understand. Here we go. Thank you, Chase. With enough prep time, could Batman kill Dresden? Well, Batman doesn't kill. So maybe he could like ruin his life a little bit. Look, he's fought lots of magicians before. He's come out on top of. He's just the greatest planner, the greatest detective of all time. Of course, he could find a way to subdue a magician, give him time to prepare. I think, but I don't know. He's like I said, he's went toe to toe with John Constantine before. So I think he probably could, but he wouldn't kill him. Batman won't kill you. He'll mess up your life. He'll make it where you never walk again, but, he won't kill you. I think that's just kind of his thing, right? You are correct. Robin Hobb, the Live Ship Trader trilogy is really, really awesome. Yes, started this morning. Am I gonna let you read my story? Probably not, guys. I don't even think like I said, I'd be way too embarrassed to even let my wife read this, and I don't think it's anything you guys would wanna read. It's a love tragedy. It's grounded in reality. There's no magic. There's nothing like that. It's not fantasy. It's a straight Earth story, that takes place in the '90s and 2000s. It's nothing that you guys would wanna read. It's just a story I've always kinda had in my head, and I have to get out, and that's really it. I appreciate the support, definitely, but, no, I would be just aghast if even my wife was reading it over my shoulder while I was typing this. I do think. So, again, thank you so much. It is. It's incredible how this is flowing out of me, but, yeah, no, I don't imagine I'll be sharing this, and unless one day I'm drunk and I'm, like, talking with Drake Kristoff or something, and I tell him what the story's about, and he's like, "I think you got something here," then, maybe I'll hand it to him and let him rewrite it, I don't know. Maybe I'll do something like use my author connections for things like that. But right now, it's like I think if I just heard someone tell me, "Well, this is dumb, man," it would just crush me. I couldn't do that. Absolutely not. I don't think so, but I appreciate that very much. That's very kind of you. As we've all chowed on Christmas cookies and overate, over Thanksgiving and stuff. It's nice. It's nice to hear. But thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, I never say never, man. Obviously, I never say never, but I just I was talking with Ramel over at Ramel Broadcasting. He was saying, maybe if you feel that way, maybe just release it under a different name. I'm like, well, you want to release it under your own name because you have this built-in support, but then you're, just you're, "Oh my god, people know it was me that wrote it." Yeah, it's just a little too much. I did watch Welcome to Derry, liked it quite a bit. One of the first times Stephen King fan fiction has been really, really great. It's not one of my favorite books of all time. Okay, I'm assuming you mean Stephen King's it? It's very much, Kellen, it's very much a story just of, high school sweethearts. One goes off to college and one doesn't, and, how they make that work, and it just kinda goes through the years of kind of their on again, off again. It's a kind of that love tragedy of, sometimes things are gonna work out, sometimes they're not, and I think it's a story I've just thought about for years, and I one day recently, a couple months ago, I just woke up and I couldn't sleep, and I was like, "Holy shit, I think I have an ending finally." And I sat down and just, "Why not? Let's just outline it." And I was like, "I got a beginning, middle, and end. I think I've got a full story here finally, something to do." But, now that I'm writing it, I'm like, I'm at like almost 100,000 words, and I would say I'm probably not a quarter through the story. So it's definitely getting away from me already. But yeah, it's a fun hobby. It's fun to have a hobby that we don't feel like we got to be great at, right? Because I know I'm not good at writing. No, I'm particularly bad, lousy at it, honestly. But it feels good, like I said, to do something like that. That helps you feel creative, makes your brain work a little bit. It's better than just for a few more hours a day, like we all do, right? That's something I'm trying to be much more cognizant of going forward, just always scrolling our phones. Correct. Hey, long time no see, stranger. Miss you, brother. Miss you on these booktube streets. It's quieter without you. The beard game has kind of went down since you stepped away. You got to come back. You got to come back. Miss you, brother. Miss you. Hope you're keeping warm. Sorry about the Buckeyes. I was really, really surprised about that. If you're a sports fan, but as a UGA fan, I was saying, if we get past Ole Miss today, it'd be nice and not have to play Ohio State next round. But Miami doesn't look like no slouch. So what am I saying? Thank you, Shinobi. Have you heard of the book series Primitive War by Ethan Pettis? The first one is about soldiers in Vietnam versus dinosaurs. No, but that sounds awesome. I'll definitely be looking that one up. Wow. Okay. Love some creativity. I'm gonna wonder how they're gonna do this. Is it some kind of like alt Earth story or something? That's a very unique idea, but I do dig it. Love me some dinosaurs. That's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. I know everybody, not that you're doing this, SBN, not that you're doing this, but it just everybody seems to have this need to. It's like for years it was like, oh, well, who do you like better, De Niro or Pacino? I'm like, I like both, Stallone and Schwarzenegger. I like them both. Why do I have to like one better than the other? It seems almost like, well, you have to like Red Rising or Sun Eater, and I'm like, why? They're both really great. But yeah, it would have to be a real bed shitting a Red God for Red Rising to fall off of my top sci-fi series. I don't know. Uh, it's addictive, I think. I have a laptop. I was just doing it right here on my desktop, and then I found myself my laptop in bed, and I found myself, wow, it's 3 a.m. and I'm still writing because you like I said, I know that some kind of block's going to happen eventually. So right now, I'm just going to let it go. I'm not editing anything. I'm not going back and revising anything. I can do that later when I'm sure that block comes up. But right now, it's me actually telling myself, you're just kind of spinning your wheels and you're getting too slice of lifey, and that's the stuff that's going to bore people. But again, I tell them, but you're writing it for yourself. Do what you want. So I'm just going to kind of let it roll for now and see what happens. But definitely don't be taking writing advice from me because I'm doing it with my kids screaming and my the TV on and stuff like that with all kinds of distractions. If it was something I was doing as a professional, I'd be locked in here in silence, be like, leave me alone for 3 hours. That would be something I'd be doing. I can agree with that. I can agree with that for sure. He took some big swings, and then again, I hope I didn't come across. I mean, because even Christopher like emailed me like saying, I'm really sorry. I thought I had stuck the landing." I'm like, man, I didn't mean it that way at all, and I had to tell him that is not what I meant. But for me, it was just something I think you need to just let a Sun Eater story percolate. There's just so many moving parts. You got to let it sit for a while before you can make a final judgment about it. I only read the first one. Wasn't for me. I said I'd try Tchaikovsky again. Haven't yet. I that book to me just felt sometimes like I was reading a science experiment, and that's not my style of, that's not my style of a science fiction book, I don't think. I appreciate that. You guys hitting the like button really helps the channel out. It really, really does. Find more people can jump on here and listen to me ramble about nothing. You're struggling, Logan. The really simple answer here is going to be Sun Eater's done. So there's that. It's done and it's been mostly well received, very, very highly praised. Stormlight, it seems like it's finally getting to the point where it's fracturing the fan base a little bit. It's not complete. It's at its the end of its first arc, as it were. I think you can read it and have a pretty decently sized, somewhat closed story. I anyway, that's not really a topic I want to get into right now. But I would say Sun Eater, really, if that's what you're feeling right now, because again, it's done and people are mostly happy with it. What's this? Considering nobody cares about Marvel anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I see the people that get excited every time there's a new MCU trailer, and by the time it comes out, nobody watches it. So I don't know. I felt ahead of the curve, man. I feel justified now. I feel vindicated. In game, I was like, this is it. It's over. It's over. You're just going to be watching Michael Jackson's backup dancers now if you keep going with this. And through the rest of that next phase, I saw so much denial, and then finally Quantum Mania came out, and it was just dog shit. And that was when everyone was like, "You know what? This phase has been pretty bad. I think the thrill is gone." I get it. I get it, especially those people who grew up with it. You don't want the party to end. I get it. But for me, it was like the writing was on the wall, man. When your heavy hitters walk away, it's probably time for me to do so too. Because I said anything after Endgame, it just felt like I was staying at a party too long, and all the people I wanted to see had left already. So that's just kind of how it went for me. But and there are still people who care about it. Like I said, those who grew up with it. But like my kids, that's like that was their Star Wars. They're not even interested anymore. I think that's kind of telling. No, I've had so many people tell me I won't like it. I listen to my audience a lot. They feel like at this point, this many years in, I feel like they know what works for me and what don't. And sometimes I'll say there's just as many people saying I like something as many people saying I won't. For pure Destiny, I haven't had very many people say that they think that I would enjoy it. So it's not really. I own it on digital, but it's not on my schedule yet. Hope so, man. Hope so. Definitely hope so. Right now, I'm trying to tell myself he's not going to switch these roles with some of these characters, but I'm like, I think it might be looking that way. I really hated what they did with Aaliyah in the original or in part two, but again, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It was on the chop. It was right there this year, and it just I said I wanted to focus so much more on finishing some series instead of starting some new ones. So it just barely missed the cut. But yes, it's absolutely still on my radar. No doubt. No doubt. Oh no, I've always been a planner. I'm much more of a planner than a mood reader. Uh, I'll let a mood, sway me sometimes. Like a big new release comes out or something everybody's talking about. So you know what? I want to do that. I want to do that. So I'm that kind of mood reader. But otherwise, if I don't plan, it's a chaotic mess. Like I was just talking about with like that writing thing. I would have never started doing it without making an outline first. So I'm way too much of a planner for these things to ever just say, well, let me see where my mood takes me because it will take me down a downward spiral that I don't think that any of us are ready for. Are they really going head to head? Wow. I feel like someone will blink there. Netflix will probably own Warner Brothers by then, so we'll see. I got some super chats. I'm gonna skip to those here for a minute. Let's see. I did that one. Let me remove it. Did this one. Sorry about this, guys. Let's make sure I don't do the same ones twice. Another new member. Thank you, Aust. Is that short for Austin? Australia? Whatever it is. Thank you. Happy to have you here. Appreciate it. Really nice of you. There we go. From Cyber Rob. Happy New Year. Thanks for all you do, making our lives brighter through highlighting the joy of reading. Best wishes to you and your family. Thank you. Thank you, man. That is the goal here. Absolutely. I want more people to read books. Obviously, that's the primary goal here. Having a place to talk about them, and not someone you look around YouTube and it's just so many just shitty videos about how everything sucks. I said I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I focus on the positive, and if that comes through, man, my goal has been achieved. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much for watching, man. It's good to have you here. Oh, my homeboy. What's up, my brother? Thanks for a great year and all the inspiration we pile up. What Jacob and I do, man. Appreciate you guys. I was watching your live stream yesterday, and again, you tell me sometimes about how like you have admiration for what I do here. I have never any admiration for what you and Jacob have. I wish I had a kid, kids that even want to flip through a book, much less read one and then come on YouTube and talk with me about it. And hopefully someday that can happen. Like that's one of those things you can't force. But no, I'm absolutely envious of what you two have. I think it's just so genuine. And getting to meet you guys this year was just a highlight of the year for me. It was a blast, and I hope we can do it again. I feel like we should make that a yearly thing, man. Getting together, hanging out, and just doing whatever. It was really, really great to see you guys. And I look forward to our next get together. We're gonna be doing. He's going to be reading. Jacob's going to actually be a guest. We're going to be talking about him with the interview with the vampire. But he's also the whole group. I think is reading Magician right now, and we're talking about doing some bonus Illuminati episodes for that. So if that happens, I don't know if Jacob's on part of that one, but we were talking maybe we'll do one for the whole series. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe we just like these books so much. We just got to talk about it. But thank you, Jacob. Appreciate it, brother. Let's see here. One more. This one is from Fernando. It's a great song by ABBA. You know it? If your name is Fernando, I feel like you got to know that ABBA song. Hello, Mike. Dead Man's Walk was my first read of that series. Now I can't wait to finish the last three. Personally, felt it worked. I was curious about that because I said recently, it was a little lower on my book of the year, where a Lonesome Dove book's usually like top five, top three. But I was curious if you started with the prequel books, would it have the same weight? And because Lonesome Dove is just so god tier, But he said it's going to work, and oh, it does, because I think those emotional beats can really, really hit hard for you if you really like Gus and Cole this early. It's a really, really fine story. And Lonesome Dove, again, of all the books I recommend on this channel, that's the one that has the highest success rate. That's the one where people will almost always tell me, "Yeah, that was absolutely as good as you said it was going to be." I'm going to skip down to live. So if you had a question waiting, uh, don't be afraid to drop it again. Just going to kind of try to get a little more caught up here. So if someone's waiting for their question, they're not waiting, for an hour. Let's see here. I get asked for bookshelf tour all the time. I should probably update it. Last time I did it, I had a stack of books right here. Most of those I donated. It was something that I got the idea from Brian Lee Durfee to donate them to the local prison. And I've been told that they love them. They love some of those books that I give them, and that's awesome because I got to think if you're incarcerated, visiting other worlds of needs might be a lot more fun. But I think that I might need to update that just based off of all the broken binding editions and stuff I have now, special editions. I've been lucky enough and fortunate enough to receive from vendors. It's been really amazing. I know it's one of those things people are like, oh, you get free books, must be nice. I mean, it's incredibly nice. I can't say thank you enough for it because I would not be able to afford these things in my real life. So having partnerships with Broken Bindings and deals with Folio Society and things like that, overwhelming. It's been an incredible opportunity for me. And I'm very, very thankful. I'll never be able to tell them thank you enough. They thank me all the time. I'm like, are you kidding? Please. I love you. Thank you so much. How my updated coffee mug. I haven't gotten a lot more. I've actually kind of started to slow down, because I really am out of space. And I, I I think it's something I've kind of gotten away from. Once I changed my room up over here, I don't have an end table anymore. So I don't always take my signature sips during the videos anymore because I tried just putting on this little light stand right here, and it fell over one time and almost ruined those One Piece comics that somebody sent to me. That would have made me feel sick, So I don't think the coffee mug tour would be that much different. Without spoilers for others, did the ending of Empire of the Dawn piss you off as much as it did me? I don't know if it pissed me off as much as it just kind of felt like a letdown because I don't know, it just took the weight out of a lot of things. And I didn't, me, man, unreliable narrator. I can't stand it. Can't stand it. And I knew it was going to have something like that, but felt like it kind of took away some of the things that hit hard in the book. And again, I think Jay, yeah, I would consider Jay a personal friend at this point, and I think he'd be disappointed if I wasn't truthful about it. I thought that the book and the series was really good, really worth reading. That ending is going to make you feel some kind of way, and it isn't always going to be good, I think. But I encourage you to please read it yourself and decide. Let's see. About to finish Valor, John Gwynn. Yeah, Faith on the Fallen's great, man. That's awesome. Looking forward to his new series. See where he goes next. Should be exciting. I've never made it play a Command& and Conquer game. I worked at a video game store, late '90s, early 2000s. Saw those games come in and out all the time. Never had any interest in them, so I can't say that I have. Yeah, absolutely. Frump's been great. Absolutely great show. I even got my wife to watch it just so I had someone to talk to about it. Now she's mad because, she has to wait, with me. And I only know that it used to be every year. I talk about every year you used to get your show would come back in the fall. It was in sweeps and all that stuff. And then it became like 2 years. Now it's just like, we'll let you know. And yeah, that's the best show like that style since Lost. And knowing that they know where they're going with it's very exciting. So hopefully they can keep it going, get to tell their full story. It's very good. Absolutely, Twin Peaks is amazing. Revival was I felt like, David Lynch works best when he has a buffer. He has some great ideas, but he needs that one person going, "That's kind of going past the batshit point." And I think with Twin Peaks Revival is he didn't have a buffer at all, and it just got so strange. I mean, and we're talking like Twin Peaks strange, and then like, holy shit, this is even more strange. So I was glad to see those characters again, and it was nice to have a real ending to that show finally. But for me, like the first up until they revealed the killer, those first season and like a third, it was some of the best TV I've ever seen in my life. I have a coffee mug that says "damn fine cup of coffee." I still say that way too much. So yeah, it's a very, very inspirational show. And there's so many things that still to this day try to, emulate what that show was able to do. And I think it was really was one of the first real breakthroughs of serialized television on network TV. They were really, really scared of that. I mean, SEC games, man, they can go either way. I feel like Kirby doesn't. I mean, I know he lost to Notre Dame last year, but it's like I feel like Kirby Smart doesn't lose big games unless it's against Alabama, and I'm hoping that he exercised that demon in a championship game this year. Right now, on paper, like I said, it's got to go through Ole Miss and Miami to get to the title game. And I feel like I almost feel like that'll be a disappointment if they don't. But SEC football, man, it can go anyway. Who knows? Ole Miss might be playing with a chip on their shoulder since their coach was a little bitch and just took off to another university. But who can turn down that LSU money, I guess. But yeah, Lane Kiffin's going to Lane Kiffin for sure. But hope for the best, expect the worst with all things sports related. I would sacrifice UGA not winning the title for the Texans making the Super Bowl. I would absolutely make that sacrifice. You better believe it. Absolutely. Fantasy novel to get you out of a major slump, man. Something short, definitely something short, something way not very complex. If you can find a standalone, they're rare, I think. But everything I think of, I want to say is like a sci-fi or a YA book or something. I don't know. Like I said, just pick something that doesn't have too many moving parts. I think a smaller cast, grounded to a small location, not book one of nine, not 400,000 words. I think that'd probably be the best way to go. But you guys ask me something like this, it's hard for me to just pick something. Maybe Discworld. Maybe Discworld would be something that you'd like. I know a lot of people recommend that as something that could be kind of standalone-ish, but also be part of a series and could be nice palate cleansers. Like for me, it's Drist. Drist, I feel like that is really, really good in that, each one of those are 280 pages, and they're, trilogy or a quadrilogy every time. And you can kind of break those series up into longer breaks. Prisoner of Azkaban. Not even close. Prisoner of Azkaban is just so good. It's one of those where I remember when I was reading those books. So I didn't read the Harry Potter books until I saw the first movie, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go check this out. There was only four out at the time, and I remember when I was reading Chamber of Secrets, I was like, wow, I can't believe she's continuing to make me guess like this. Book three, I was like, oh, she's not gonna get me this time. She's not gonna get me. She got me. She got me for sure. So those first book two and three, I think, have some of the best mysteries in that entire series that'll keep you guessing all the way. But Azkaban just always will just be one ahead. Favorite movie too. Yeah. Nabo, what's up, brother? Happy New Year, Philly. Not sure if anyone has, but do you think it's one of your most anticipated release for 2026? I keep saying Red God if that comes out. New Ronald Malfi is going to be very exciting as well. I just learned today that Joe Abercrombie's new one's coming out this year, so that'll be it. Maybe John Gwynn's if his comes out this year. So hopefully there's some surprise that comes out of nowhere. This is true. This is true. I tell people all the time I would trade both Astros titles for one Texans title. I mean, because to me, I'm a football guy, And this state would go crazy. Like, you don't understand what football, professional football, American professional football is in Texas. It's a religion. Everything else is a distant second. So it was like I enjoyed those Astros titles. I enjoyed the Rockets titles back in the '90s, but I would trade it all for one Super Bowl title. Not even close. I think the Texans starting 0-3 and him being 11-5 heading into the playoffs here. Yeah. So that was my biggest surprise. Outside of my town, before he got hurt, Daniel Jones not being a complete train wreck. I thought that was going to be a disaster in Indiana, but they impressed a little bit. Matthew Stafford was like one step away from death, and now might be MVP this year. There's been some big surprises. That's what I love about this sport, man. So good. Oh yeah, Memory Star of Thorn is like one of my favorite trilogies of all time. Because the Green Angel Tower is basically two books, but yeah, Memory Star of Thorn is incredible. Going to be going back to I'm still going back to what is it, Oceanard this year. So, be doing the Shadow of What Was Lost was kind of that bridge novel, at least at minimum. I'll be doing that this year. Yeah, I wouldn't know. Would not know. I lived in Atlanta until I was 15, and then I moved here, and the Texans have been pretty much a shit show, for the majority of their existence. So I imagine it's incredible. And a lot of people are like, oh well, you only won one. I would give anything to have one. Yeah, I don't. I'm not greedy. I don't have to have everything after that's a bonus. It's pretty amazing to start 7-1 and not make the playoffs. It's just I don't think anybody expected the Texans and Jags to just like not lose again for like the second half of the season. It's been kind of crazy. Say essential as part of Dark Target's extended reading list. My wastelands are finished stand. I made a video about this about the most frequently asked questions about Dark Tower, and you really don't have to read anything. There's things that I think help a lot, but if you're asking me to pick one book, I'd say between book 6 and 7, read Insomnia, because there's so many things that happen in book 7, you're like, "Who the fuck are these guys?" Because if you didn't read Insomnia, you wouldn't understand who some of these characters are. It might be between 5 and 6. I'd be getting my timelines wrong. But there are characters who show up in Dark Tower 6 or 7. I read them both recently, I should know this. But there are characters that show up that you're like, why is he throwing this new character into the quartet here? You read Insomnia, it'll make much more sense. Much more sense. Especially that final confrontation with the Crimson King will make much, much more sense. Man, man, Mariners had it bad this year, man. That's devastating. It's devastating. As an Astros fan, I wasn't mad, but I can recognize heartbreak when I see it. Hey, you guys win on Sunday. You'll be my new favorite team because you'll beat the Jags. I would love it. I would love to see you ruin their season. It'd be amazing. Yeah, they're brutal, man. I'm a defense first guy, so I get it. Do you find it hard as a Commanders fan to stop saying Redskins? Because it's not one of those things I say to be insensitive because people are like, oh, when you say it, it's just like, no, you don't understand. First 40 years of my life, that was with the Redskins. It's hard for me to change now. And I still, to the day, will call the Redskins. People are like, what? I don't know. So I'm sure someone who grew up, maybe as a Redskins fan, is it hard to ever not call them that? It's wild. It's wild. Dude, they had it. Oh my God, they had it. Oh, damn. Yeah, Brian over at Bell too was a Vikings fan, and I've heard his laments more than once. I tell him all the time, like, look, whatever I complain about sports related, man, I will bow to you. I will absolutely bow to you. Man, Witchcraft of Wayward Girls was a monumental disappointment. It I won't even go into that. I think it was one that made me realize that Grady Hendrix was never going to be the author I was hoping he was going to be when I read My Best Friend's Exorcism. But it's kind of a blessing because it made me find Ronald Malfi. I picked up Ronald Malfi after that, who I love. So everything happens for a reason, right? Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be happening probably later in the fall because I want to get these read-alongs and other series I plan to do over. I've kind of done a long range forecast for the whole year. Yes, I know it sounds crazy, but it's nothing that's in ink. But I just said, hey, so we don't plan too hard here or too much, put too much on your plate. Why don't you just do just kind of a mock run through the 12 months, and it would be closer to September, Octoberish before I get back. But I do plan to pick up Told the Hounds and just go straight through. That's really the plan right now. And after I just saw Brian finishing Dust of Dream, so I say I'm not excited. But I am gonna be happy to say I got this one off the list finally. A great anime series? Probably Stormlight Archive. I think that would be awful as live action. People would be laughing so hard at Spren, it would never work. It would never work, but I also think that Dresden Files would be perfect. Like, put it in, like, that Dragon Prince style animation, think it would be an incredible, incredible show. Absolutely, without a doubt. I think it could work also as live action, but as an anime, I think Dresden Files would be just a huge hit. Yep, it'll happen. It will happen. Let's see. Okay, you've been my go-to. Okay, well, hope I haven't disappointed. Reading the last 4 series, sort of like having a moment, quite the ride going back and forth. Yeah, those are very different, man. Last Brandon will tell you some things are happening, but and Mike Shackle will explain them to you in great detail about what's happening right now. It's a really great series. It is. I mean, it is what it is. I'm just like, God, I miss their uniforms or color because I feel like the colors even aren't the same as they were, back in the Diesel days. John Riggins. That was my Redskins. And it's just it's tough. I just can't imagine you had to clean this color scheme out there, man. I hate that that happened. I understand it. I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just saying it was tough. It's tough. I mean, I still call the Chargers San Diego. It's just things that you I call the Raiders Oakland. It's hard to get away from things you said your whole year. I've never called them the Cleveland Guardians, like ever. I don't think I could. So, it's not a protest thing or nothing. It's just it's hard to break those habits. Yeah, man, brother was something, wasn't it? My goodness. Gosh, that was in any other year, that'd have been my book of the year. It was a really, really strong year, and as dark as Brother was, Mystic River was like, "Hold my beer," it was really that jacked up. Yeah, great, great, great books this year. Definitely. A little outside of my fantasy comfort zone too. I've heard mixed things. I mean, for everybody I've heard trash it, I've heard just as many people praise it. I was actually surprised because they have this thing on YouTube Analytics where you can go into one of your videos as a creator, and you can see how many people subscribed or unsubscribed from your video while watching it. And when I did my Rhythm of War one just a few years back, Rhythm of War review, where I was lukewarm on it, 4 digits worth of unsubscribers, like thousands of unsubscribers because I was negative on that book. And it was kind of funny because this time I felt like I was mixed to positive on Win the Truth. In that review, people were mad I wasn't harder on it. So it's amazing what a difference 3 years can make for sure. So I don't know where you'll fall on Win the Truth. I think everyone can agree it's way too long for the story he tried to tell. But I don't know. I don't know. I hope not. I mean, anything's possible. Like I said, SEC football is very unpredictable. It would be quite the disappointment, to finally exercise those Alabama demons but it is hard to beat the same team twice in one year, and they already beat Ole Miss once this year. I was with Kiffin there. I'll say anything can happen. Anything can happen. I just feel like Kirby's way too good of a game planner to lose. It sounds stupid because I'm not that confident, but to lose a game outside of someone like Indiana, I just it'd be hard for me to see that right now. But yeah, who thought that Miami was going to beat Ohio State yesterday? That's why we need the college football players. We can complain all day about who got in, but this shows why we needed it because look at all the upsets. And it feels like an upset kind of year. It'll be wow, one of these years where someone like Miami wins it all. It's crazy. But I'm glad we have it. I've heard that there's like shonen manga that are like about tennis and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't know. Absolutely would recommend Sunnier. Definitely do it. Yes, there's 2 LA teams, for the city who doesn't care about them. I talked to Blake Crouch, all while Dark Matter season 1 was going on. He was very, very awesome and let me, like, message him after every episode, you wanna know what I think and stuff like that, wanted my feedback, and I was like, Really? Mine? You want my feedback?" But, it was really cool, and he said he is working on something, but he didn't have a date or anything, because he is basically writing Dark Matter 2 as a TV show. He's writing season 2 of the show, which is like the unofficial sequel to the book. And that's why I allow it. I don't want Shogun season 2 because, James Clavell ain't alive. This is the actual author writing season 2. So it's basically it's book 2, but it's in visual format. Something about it. But he said that he was writing something, but this was obviously his priority right now. There we go. I always said I want to move back to Texas. Mention between Dallas, Houston, Austin. Where would you suggest, generally speaking? I mean, obviously, there's gonna be some bias there. People don't understand that we are like, it's Texas versus everybody, unless it's Houston or Dallas. We know we don't do that. We're Hatfields and McCoys in that regard. I always joke, well, in Dallas they shoot presidents, and here we have hurricanes. So pick your poison. There, Austin. If you are a younger a younger individual, I think that's probably the place. They say keep Austin weird because it's very strange, very much college town. A lot of hippie things going on there. So if that's your brand, I think maybe that might work for you. At this point, I'm past the party years and all that stuff, so I would have no interest in Austin. I didn't even like going there for the Pierce Brown book signing, but there we are. I had friends who went to the University of Texas, and I got to go up there and visit a lot. So I feel a certain way about it. Every time I've been to Dallas, just because, like I said, I'm obsessed with the JFK assassination stuff. And walk the entire trail. They claim Lee Harvey Oswald ran in record time and all those things. Again, I feel a certain way about that assassination story. So every time I've been to Dallas, it's been more for that. But I would like to see Cowboy Stadium eventually. I think so. But moving, I say Houston. It's always growing. It's always growing. It's a melting pot, and you're going to have just about any culture you want to find. You're going to find it in Houston, and we have the best food. So watch out. You don't want to gain weight. I would say here. I hope that's a good dude. Yeah, I hope so. Black Mountain, great. Awesome. Awesome. I've heard the audiobook guy is really, really great. Again, I can only go off of what I'm hearing on these things. I thought San Antonio was going to get the Saints there right after Katrina because they had so much support when the Saints were playing here after Katrina. So if it didn't happen then, I don't know. There was this thing where it was like Chat GPT predicts like the next 50 Super Bowl winners. And it was in like a 2048, they had the London Monarchs as a Super Bowl champion. I was like, if that happened before some of these cities who have been begging for a football team forever in America, that would be very disappointing. It's going to be Shutter Island. That's what I plan to do this year. And I know that's like the popular pick, but it was like that's what came up next is what I have. So I'm going to do Shutter Island. I've seen the movie, but I don't think it'll ruin my enjoyment of the book at all. If LaHane's as great of a writer as he showed with Mystic River. I wonder if knowing the twist of Shutter Island will ruin that experience or not. But again, I think he's a good enough writer that I'm not worried about it. Are they doing bad right now? Because that sucks. Because one of my best friends, we do our rocket streams together. He he's a Texas Tech alum. So if they're not doing good right now, I got my phone on airplane mode right now, so I wouldn't get buzzing because I know we have like a group thread of us guys that watch all the coach football games. But I knew I was going to be doing this so I could be free for the Georgia game later. So man, if they're doing bad, that sucks. But he said he didn't think they were going to beat Oregon anyway. He just wanted to be able to hang with them. I have not read Bastion, the Great Soul series. I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar. Like I said, after the stream, or I don't know if you can do it right now. Just drop a comment, an actual comment, not in the chat, but in the comments box below. Remind me of some of these. I'll add them to my list for sure. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Make sure I don't have any more of those. Just don't go to San Antonio. Okay, Charles Barkley. I love the Riverwalk. It's nice. I wouldn't want to live there, but it's nice. Yeah, like I said, we get hurricanes, we get flooding. We're not perfect city. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, it's the biggest thing is we have hurricanes. So, you know, uh, people up north are all like, "Oh, you guys can't handle a little bit of cold." Right? It's like, yeah, well, I remember when like a Category 1 hurricane was heading up the East Coast, and you guys were losing your shit. So it's just different strokes for different folks, right? Different lokes, different locations. I think maybe that's how it is. Because yeah, it's a Category 5 hurricane that's just going to come and just rest over Houston for 5 days. We're like the freaking Justice League, combating that. But someone drops an ice cube on the road, and it's like we got to shut down the city. So yeah, it doesn't even have to be bad weather. It just has to be cold, and we don't know what to do. Yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that's the case, and I think it will be. He's a good enough writer that I'm not really too concerned, overly concerned about knowing the twist ending that's going to change anything for me. Ouch, ouch. Taking that title from the Longhorns, huh? Which book is better according to you, Desperation or Billy Summers? Desperation. My biggest problem with Desperation was just that the characters didn't act the way Stephen King characters usually act. I can't remember their names, but there's like a pair of characters that basically like hitchhikers, and like they're completing each other's sentences within like a few minutes. And I'm like, this is not how strangers act, Stephen. So my biggest problems with Desperation were much more just like the characters weren't acting like real people. Then I expect so much more from Stephen when it comes to characters. Billy Summers was just very forgettable. It was just very forgettable. It wasn't really the story that I was anything that I was excited for, really. It started as one thing, became something else. And I thought he did those things good, but it was again, an hour after reading it, you weren't thinking about it anymore. Houston, because you can drive to Galveston in like an hour and a half. It's great. Love it. Love it. We go there when we go on a cruise. It's great. Any video games I've been looking forward to? We got the kids a Switch 2, and I also got my oldest Assassin's Creed Shadows, and he's been playing nothing but Shadows. He hasn't even touched the Switch 2 yet. I'm like, well, you know what? Could have saved $500, but hey, that's how these things work. No one made me buy that for him. But again, he'll have something to do later, right? For me personally, not really. I just every time I get a new game, it just sits in the shrink wrap, and I just play Witcher 3 again. So I mean, I think so. Unless you're just miserable. If you haven't liked it in like 2 years, I don't know, last two seasons, I don't think there's anything that's gonna make you like it now. But it depends on you. If you made it this far, sure, of course, get an ending. Any adaptation you think are better than the source material? Doctor Sleep. I think Doctor Sleep is absolutely better than the book because he Mike Flanagan did something that was really great. Is he was able to basically adapt the book, but also make it a sequel to Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. And I felt like he bridged that gap, that those years of resentment between Steven and Kubrick by making that story feel almost like okay, they both belong now. I think it was really, really great, and it was better than the book because in the book, the Overlook's not there anymore. In the movies, the Overlook Hotel is still very much there. And getting to see the Overlook again and seeing older Danny walk through it and seeing all those manifestations again, top tier stuff. Very underrated movie. I wish it had done better. Really think that the name Doctor Sleep really hurt that movie. I mean, call it Shining 2 probably wouldn't have helped anything else, but I just it's very underrated. I got so many people now watching like, wow, that was way better than I expected. Very good. Not anytime soon, and I mean, God bless Jenny. She is like one of the nicest ladies I have encountered on this whole social media thing. She's a pleasure, a delight. She sent me like 9 books. She's incredible. She drew me some art. She's a fabulous woman, and I've heard nothing but incredible things about her books. But it was one of those things when I finished Realm of the Elderlings and The Expanse in the same year, I was like, that's it for a while for these 9, 12, 15 book series. I can't do one right now. So now that I'm going to focus on finishing some series and stuff, that won't be it. If I'm starting any new series, it's very much going to be smaller ones, 3 or 4 books, 5 max, I think. But yeah, that's it for now. Yes, yes, was very good. Watch a director's cut of Doctor Sleep if you can. You know what I like that Max Flanagan did is he didn't do, oh, let's just put something there and CGI these dead actors in. No, he just cast new actors, and they did a great job. They really did. I think that took away from the distraction of it. Author interviews on my bucket list besides Stephen King. Um, I mean, I think all the ones I want to talk to aren't with us anymore, sadly. I wouldn't mind talking to Joe Hill. That'd be nice. I feel like that'd be the closest I'd probably get. If it goes really well, maybe he could put in a good word for me. I don't know, but I don't know that I really have one. I've been blessed pretty much to talk to most of the ones that I've wanted to. There's a couple, that they don't ever respond, and I don't blame them for that. They probably don't even see it if they have a publicist and stuff like that. But no, I've been very, very fortunate in getting to talk to most of the ones I've asked to talk to. Very happy about that. Where are my dogs at? Yeah, definitely. Big, big game. Big, big game. I'm excited for it. I did. We watched Corvus. Vince Gilligan don't miss for me, so we were going to watch this no matter what. I was so excited watching this. It got me watching X Files again, which Vince Gilligan got his start writing on X Files. So watching all the Vince episodes, it was always apparent that this guy was a talent. we finally got to see that with Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, right? Florida, it's not a show for everybody, I don't think. It's very, very slow paced, but, I think I'm gonna trust where he's leading us for sure. If people are like, "Oh, I just don't like Carol." I don't think you're supposed to like Carol. She's not likable, and I think it's more about the situation and what's going on than, excuse me, than what the characters are doing. Sorry, I didn't mean to write that well. Readers Giants being the first Stephen King book, I was shocked how different it was from the movie. Yeah, yeah. I think it's one of those cases like Jurassic Park, is that both are good. The movie and the book are good. They're very different experiences. But yeah, there's some of the book DNA in there, but Jack Nicholson was crazy from the moment, he was driving that family through the mountains. I think he was crazy in that first scene. So you didn't really notice the quite slipping into madness like you do in the book, and much more touching moments between Jack Torrance and Andy in the book, I think, than you get in the movie. Urban Shaman. Someone I didn't know this was the name of the series, and it might have been you that left this comment. Someone was saying the series I like, urban fantasy, and someone said urban shaman, and I just thought they were saying it was about an urban shaman, and that they didn't know what the name of the series was. I was like, well, what's the name of the series? So that's why I asked. I had no idea it was called Urban Shaman. Okay, there we go. Now I know. That'll go on my radar. I have read Aragon twice. I have stopped on Eldest in the same place twice. I will be reading it for a third time, Aragon, this year, and I will be doing all 4 books in 2026 for the first time ever. I will be finishing The Inherited Cycle. I know it's one of those that people are like, "You're not gonna enjoy it at your age." You know what? I'm enjoying a lot of the YA books I'm reading right now, and not everything has to be like I said, sometimes it's okay to watch cartoons, and everything doesn't have to be The Sopranos. So I'm going to it hoping to have some fun. Definitely hoping to have some fun. Am I going to read We Used to Live Here soon? It's a good one to read. No, it's not anything I have on my schedule yet. Do I have this? It's one of those. I think I got the digital one of this. I'm not sure if this is the one I'm thinking of or not. Hmm. Not right now, but if it is one that I have on my list, I'll let you know when it happens. I don't have any explaining the universe, but I have, one of where to start with the Star Wars EU if you want to do that. And I kind of talk about situation if you're wanting this, if you're wanting that, if you've only seen the movies, you've only seen the originals, kind of where to go. I think that video was very helpful to a lot of people, just based off the feedback I got from it. But yeah, it's just called Where to Start with Star Wars Extended Universe. Just do a search for it on my archive. You can't miss it. I think I actually have a playlist of Star Wars stuff too. It'd be easier to find. Pace yourself. I think I've never read War and Peace. I think kind of like what I did with Shogun is I made a plan to break that book up into small bits to not be overwhelmed with it. I'm not scared of big books, obviously. If you're a fantasy fan, I don't think you're scared of big books ever. But I do think sometimes it's okay to just make a plan to break it into segments or whatever. I don't know about War and Peace if it has like Act One, Act Two, Act Three, Act Four, book whatever, something like that. But I think make a plan. I'm pretty sure there probably some like it's such a popular book at this point. There probably are some like study plans out there for the best way to attack it. And it worked great for me with Shogun. I broke it over 3 months and I loved it. I wouldn't change anything about the way I did it. I did. It was in the early years of this channel, and it was my first Clive Barker. Or no, I read Heaven on Heart. It was my first full-length novel by Clive Barker. And the thing I couldn't shake is it just felt like discount Dark Tower to me. Thought he had some really great ideas. He's a way better writer than I thought he was. Like his prose was like gorgeous. And I was like, this guy gets cast as just a schlock horror novelist. And no, he's really quite good. So Weave World, it was like I had troubles connecting with some of the characters, I think, but the world and the monsters were really good. Really, really good. So I think it's worth your time. Hope it's good, man. I mean, I hate that they ruined that the big hook with the trailer, but I understand they want to get butts in seats. But it's not the same thing when they showed the sandworm in the first Dune trailer. I feel like they shouldn't do that. Trailers give up too much now, man. I hate it. Definitely hate it. Geralt or Gabriel De Leon. Geralt's one of the greatest. I mean, I love Geralt. He I think that with Geralt is it's the reason I stopped really reading the Witcher books is when it got away from Geralt, because I think as I like that character so much, which admittedly I played the games first, and I think that kind of influenced me a bit. But yeah, I'd go with Geralt. Nothing against Gabe. I haven't. I own that really, really beautiful, beautiful edition. I haven't. Every year I say, "This is gonna be the year I do it," and I never do. I'm terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Let's see where I'm at. Okay, so yeah, War and Peace has 4 parts, and you can split them up into 15 sessions. Okay. Oh, you can read a chapter per day. That's clever. Sure that was intentional. That's a nice idea. The Treasure Island of Fantasy. Hmm. It's funny is I kind of always thought about Treasure Island as fantasy, but, I guess it's more historical fiction than anything. It's one of the first books I ever read without pictures in it. It's great. It's great, which reminds me, I have to recommend Black Sails if you guys haven't watched Black Sails. Read Treasure Island, read and watch Black Sails. Really, really, really good show. Really underrated show. Okay. Okay. Fighting off that rest of the remains of that winter cold, so I hope you guys will let me struggle through it here as I roll back up and see what all I missed as I'm starting to get current on the comments here. There is a new Spielberg movie coming this year. I forgot what it was called. I didn't even watch any preview for it. Like I said, I've just got to the point where like I don't even want to see trailers anymore. They give away so much. Yeah, it's rough. But I do miss the days where it feels like Spielberg movies were magic. Everyone loses that fastball after a while. I try to remember like the last great great Spielberg movie, and I was like, it's probably been about 20 years at least. I don't know. I don't know. So it's always one of those where you hope that your old favorites, you hope that that band that you love like comes back with a reunion album and holy shit, it's actually really, really good. That's kind of what you hope for with another Spielberg movie at this point. Scorsese's still doing it. I don't know why. I don't know why Steven can't. Love to hear it, brother. Love to hear it. Hail Reaper. Hail Reaper. Enjoy the ride. What is a fantasy series you don't think would work in the visual medium? I mean, I already said Stormlight, but just for fun, let me think about something else here. I think something like Malazan would be too much. It would just be way too convoluted and out there and strange, and the audience wouldn't get it. And it's definitely one you need to read, I think, to even grasp remotely what's going on. So I think that'd be way too hard to translate to screen, without a doubt. Really, he's not releasing one next year. Thank God, because I couldn't have another Holly book. Oh gosh, Holly. I mean, does Ryan Cahill still count as independent? I guess he's still self-publishing, so that counts, right? I always wanna try to give some indie authors a try. I can't think of any right now that I have on the schedule, but I think it's more that I'm focusing on finishing some things I've already started much more than some new ones. See if I got any new ones down here. It is. That intro song is amazing. That whole intro sequence is great. My favorite video game, fantasy sci-fi universe. Fantasy, I love the Legacy of Kain series. Kain and Raziel, the Soul Reaver games. Blood Omen's amazing. Like just from right away. It's like they did that remaster this year and they put it out, that special edition. I was playing it. My wife had never knew anything about it. And she was like, this storyline is way too good for a game like that. Like it is. It is a really, really great storyline. So it's almost more like a cinematic journey, with some gameplay elements in it. And it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. It's really, really good. Sci-fi, I love the Gears franchise. I can't get enough of the Gears of War franchise. I'm crazy excited for Emergence Day because that's kind of like the story of the original Gears that you wanted to know. Why is Dominus prison? How that all go down? You kind of get hints and quick exposition about it, but to actually get that story and see the day that the aliens do invade, it's going to be fun. Very excited. I met the guy who voiced Dom at the. He's a friend of Christopher Rocchio's. I met him actually at the gala. Hung out, got along great. He actually made a video for my kid who always plays as Dom, saying "Sup, bitches," So it was very, very fun event, and I'm excited for Emergence Day for sure. But yeah, I love that. That was a time where I thought nothing could best Halo for me for a sci-fi universe, and yeah, Gears did it. Gears is great. Who doesn't love using a machine gun that has a chainsaw to cut someone right in half? It's amazing. Amazing series. They've remastered it a couple times too, so you guys haven't played it yet. And then it's on PlayStation now too. Finally, they finally moved it over to PlayStation, so you guys can play it. he did actually send me that book. Beautiful cover, beautiful cover. I should try to throw that one in there eventually. Yeah, I've heard some really great things about it. Love a good superhero story, why not? I mean, do I wanna do this? Should I do this? This is live. I don't know if I wanna do this. I think, honestly, the downward trajectory of Hollywood the last decade plus is really what got me reading more again. So I'm kind of thankful for it. I used to watch, me and my wife, 40, 50, sometimes 60 in a great year, new movies per year. Everything that was nominated for an Oscar, we'd watch. Anything that was getting any kind of acclaim at all, anything on streaming that was a new release we had to see, we'd watch all of it. And now it's like, man, if we're lucky if we get 20 new movies in a year anymore. And I was only at the time, way back then, I was reading maybe 10, 12 books a year. And because TV and movies had gotten so painful, and then we'll admit some of it might just be that you get older and you think everything sucks. I mean, that's a fact of the matter, guys. You're gonna have to deal with this eventually. You're gonna you're younger, you think Bob Dylan can't sing. You get older, and all of a sudden, like, actually, Bob Dylan's quite good. It's just one of those things that happens not until you're older. When you get older, everything that's going on sucks. Kids don't go outside anymore. And back in my day, you'll do that. But for me, it was just like I love cinema, and I have no interest to go anymore because everything's just so bad. Everything's felt like AI slop before we knew to call it AI slop, right? And I just started reading more and more. Before I knew it, I was up to 30, 40, 50 books a year. And yeah, well, let me hear, I guess. But yeah, it sucks that I feel like now I have to really be pushed to watch a movie. I have to be something that I people that I trust see it and tell me how great it was for me to actually finally give it a try. It really is a pain that I feel like I have to research my movies now to know if I want to watch them. It's so depressing, but I think it happens to all of us. I mean, at what point? How old do you get before you realize, huh? I've turned into my parents because you'll watch the American Music Awards and be like, every single band that has played tonight is trash. And I think that happens to everybody. It really, really does. Just read Twitter during the Super Bowl for halftime show, and all it is the old people complaining and the young people complaining about the old people complaining. And I was like, you don't think that we did this with our parents when we were younger? They hated our music, we hated theirs. Oh, yeah, that happens. Oh, you know it. The actual game with the Chargers last week was just a warm up for our usual 3:30 playoff time start on Saturday, Wild Card Weekend. No doubt, no doubt. You know this. And honestly, this year I understand it because any team that plays the Texans, it's an ugly game because their defense is so good that it's not fun football to watch for people who love offense. It's really not. Hey, Gary, good to see you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I think you were in 2026 before me, and you're ahead of me, right? I think you're in the future. You're in the future. So happy belated New Year to you guys. I think it's New Year everywhere at this point, right? By this point, we're all caught up, I think. But I always think it's kind of funny to joke with the people ahead of me in time. Be like, hey, can you tell me the scores of the football game tomorrow so I can place a few bets? We've talked about it. It's just, man, we just got so overwhelmed. In October, we were trying to do all that spooky season stuff, and then we had like family vacation, and then right after that, I had the Jay Kristoff deal, and then we had the Sun Eater Gala, and it just took everything out of us, and we just got wore out. So we didn't even watch the movies we planned to watch this year. So it wasn't the way we planned for it to go. I'd love to do some. At a minimum, I think we'll be returning for our House of Dragon stuff. That's got to happen. But yeah, I'd like to. I'd like to get that more consistent. Going to kind of be out of work soon. Might have more time on my hands, so you never know. Yeah, so it's not just me. Movies and TV kind of dropping a little bit in quality. Made a lot more people read. Thank you, Barboon. I appreciate it. Think you have a good talk with Joe Hill if that would ever happen. Which author would you like to have on your channel? Any dream guest? No, like I said, I think I've been very fortunate to have everyone I wanted. An author that I just got into this year was Ronald Malfi, and being able to get him to come on the channel was a real blessing. I appreciate that. Most of these authors are, if you can actually get in touch with them, it's not hard. They want to do it. They know that this is going to give them way more exposure than some magazine that no one reads. They know this, but once you reach a certain level of success, you get so much email that you don't even see it. And publicists, they aren't giving them anything they don't find important. So like I've talked with Jim Butcher on the channel, and I can't get in touch with him to talk to him again because I'm pretty sure his publicist, he has a new publicist than he did back then. And yeah, I can't even get in touch with him. And I know he'd come on the channel if I could get in touch with him. I just haven't been able to. So really, with that, it's more of comes down to just communication problems than anything else. But I wouldn't mind talking to Matt Denneman. I haven't been able to get him on the channel yet. I haven't been able to get in touch with him. Jason over at Bain was like, "Hey, I'm personal friends with him. Just drop him a message on Facebook." Uh, it's been sitting in his inbox unread for I think 2 months now. So that might actually happen. I'd like to talk to Brandon too, of course. I mean, I feel like I'm the only booktuber with a channel my size that hasn't talked to Brandon Sanderson yet. So that's it's kind of deflating. But again, with me, it's just getting in touch with these people. It's really really hard. So if you guys talk to any of them, be sure to throw my name out there. It'd be great. Well, there's that. I mean, there's always going to be personal reasons. Just like, if you have no problems with AT&T, but someone else that has had problems with AT&T, they're gonna let you know about it. So I think, bad experiences go for everybody. "Oh, I can't believe you're eating Domino's. It's trash pizza." And it's like, "No, it's pizza. I don't have any problems with it." I'm like, "Oh, I got a bad one time." How it happens. There there are phenomenal movies out there. Yeah, and you know what? It's actually encouraged me to step out of my comfort zone. Like I think a couple years ago, I watched that I think it's Indian. It was RRR. That movie RRR. It was phenomenal. It was amazing, and I was like, I never thought 5 years ago, I was like, I would never watch a movie like this. Would never give it a chance, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. So I mean, yeah, of course, there are still some that slip through the cracks, and going outside of Hollywood is actually something that I've started doing. I hope this gives a rise to like independent film again. I really do. I think it could be really, really great to push creators to make something more because the more and more we have these studios buying up all the other studios and having an oligopoly again, and it's gonna be like everything's gonna be exactly the same. Everything's just gonna be a box lunch. We all eat the same thing. That's all it's gonna be. And it's a shame. It's a shame that Warner Brothers sold to Netflix because, guys, it is not good. It is not good. There's no positive way to spin this whatsoever. It is not good. It is not good. The thing is, like, if they didn't do it, someone else would have. It's a shame. I think we're gonna lose all creativity here, and everyone's just gonna kinda be in lockstep with, "This is the stories we wanna tell," and you're gonna see more and more people like myself kinda start to slide out of that entertainment. It's a shame. Shame, I think we are really going through the death throes of the cinema now. It's just sad. It's always been a part of my life, my whole life, and it's just like even we went and see Avatar, it was like, yeah, it's full because, James Cameron still puts butts in seats, but it's still you just look at the numbers, awful year for Hollywood, just as far as it's the lowest year since, the pandemic. It's a shame, and I think that they've done it to themselves. They really have. Really done it themselves. Absolutely, man. Drop it in the comments. Let everybody know. I would love to help you out here. Absolutely. I tell people when they send me, "Can I send you my book?" I'm like, "Look, I'm gonna be straight with you. The chances are more than not that I'll never read it. I just don't have enough time. I don't have enough days left in my life to read it. But if I can help you out just by showing it off, maybe that'll trigger some interest for somebody." Absolutely. I love to help people out that way, man. Especially I'm writing my own thing now. I know how you guys feel, but even though I never plan to release mine. Oh, here we go. Another super chat. Thank you, Us again. I feel like if King was writing Dark Series now, King would have forced Holly to it and made her the main character. Who knows? I think you evolve over time, honestly. I do think if Stephen King had took his time and was still writing The Dark Tower at the same pace that he had originally planned to, he'd just now be finishing. Yeah. I didn't see Begonia, but I heard good things. I liked Weapons. Sinners I liked, but I'm mm, starting to drift from it a little bit, feeling like it really was just From Dusk Till Dawn, wasn't it? It really was. And I love From Dusk Till Dawn, but, I've heard, Begonia, that, Jeremy Jahns is a movie reviewer I really trust. We seem to be lockstep. I think I joke sometimes that we share a brain. I think we share, a birthday, or is it close to a birthday? So we're almost the same age. I feel like we have the same likes and dislikes, and he really had great things to say about Begonia. So that's on the list for sure. And yeah, I'd definitely say that there's no good movies out there. I'm just saying I have to work harder now. I have to study and research which movie I'm gonna watch, before I feel like, why am I gonna waste my life watching 3 hours of this movie that I could sit here and tell you what's gonna happen 5 minutes before it happens because they're all written by the same, program. That's how it's starting to feel. I still hope I get to see the whole bloody affair. I love Kill Bill, and I'd love to see this. They're saying it's gonna be theaters only. God, I'm hoping there's some kind of 4K release or something. I don't know anything. I know Abercrombie said that, The Devils was not really a standalone, so I think he's probably gonna do something in that same kind of, alt world that he has, but just all new characters. I think it might be like anthology style, I will say. Eh, different shit on the same stick, I think. It is too, but man, no kidding, no kidding. Gosh, I don't wanna get into that, but jeez. Can't take the kids if they're going out to eat with the kids at, like, Taco Bell now, like, "You used to pay this for a steakhouse." It's nuts. Yeah, and, I tell myself every time I go, it's like, "You know what? No one's making you buy the food and drinks, Mike." But I do it. I do it every time. 'Cause we went to, like me and my kids went to Avatar, I think it was, like 'cause we went matinee, it was, like, $25 for the 3 of us to go see, but, like, that's not bad. That's really not bad at all. It's not 3D, it's very nice. Spent more than that on candy, drinks, and popcorn. Trap, man. It's a trap, but you know what? That's my own fault. I think, something that pushed a lot of people towards it was and again, this might sound like, "Okay, boomer," or something, even though I'm not a boomer, my mom's a boomer. But I think something that might really push it is, people like me, like, my generation, Gen X, we go to a movie theater to escape, enjoy a good story, and regardless if the movie's good or not, everyone around you is so rude these days. They're just looking at their phone in front of you. Some people are just talking to the person next to them like they're in their living room. I think it's just a generation gap that's just happened now where it's just like, my parents would have smacked me if I behaved like this in a theater. It's hard to get immersed into a movie because everyone's so loud. Everyone acts like they're in the living room. And 9 times out of 10, yeah, movie isn't that good. So I think the break during the Bears Shall Not Be Named showed a lot of people that they were fine just waiting 2 weeks for it to come out in streaming or on demand and watch it at home. We've got a lot of us got like 85-inch televisions and surround sound in our homes now, and we were like, yeah, you know what? I'll save the $50 and just wait 3 weeks and watch it at home. I think that hurt a lot. It really has. No, but it doesn't surprise me. I mean, who thought he wasn't going to write more Holly stories? I don't know. I appreciate that, man. If we agreed on everything, it's gonna be very fun at all. But hey, thanks for watching anyway. I never played Dragon's Dogma, but I've heard good things about that series. I would agree there. I think that the horror movies now that they're starting to kind of curve back around from doing the artsy A24 shit. I think that they are starting to actually be like, okay, well, you know what? We think this can scare the hell out of you, and they can do some really, really cool things now. I think there's some really good horror directors out there that are making great, great stuff. Robert Eggers, and God, what's the guy who's doing Zach? It's the guy who did Barbarian. They think there's weapons. I think that they're doing some really neat things. I feel like that's what I kind of hoped Ari Aster kind of started. I feel like there are some really good horror minds out there that are really starting to take things in the right way. Really excited about that. Yeah, that happens too. You're crying, baby. Yeah, I always joke all the time about like 100% of the time. If I'm on an airplane, there's gonna be a crying baby in front of me or behind me, or a kid who's kicking the seat, or doing something. And you always will feel like that. But without a doubt, that's happening at the movie theater. It's absolutely happening. It is what it is. I mean, again, I'm never gonna make judgments on how someone parents their kids or something like that because everybody's got their own style. Lord knows I look at my mom's style in hindsight, and like, I could never do that. Attila the mother, I could never be like that. But yeah, I would just be a fright if my kids were the ones that were screaming and crying in a theater, disturbing everyone's experience. Just couldn't handle it. I feel awful. That absolutely the big thing. It's like, who are they making some of these movies for anymore? It's like it used to be give the audience what they want. Now I feel like filmmakers and studios have gotten into, no, we need to give the audience what they need. And it's been like 10, 12 years of that now. It's like, so you're still not listening, even though box office, I really thought once they started losing money, they'd realize what the problem was, and they don't. It's true. Theaters get screwed just as bad. Outstanding, Blake. Love to hear it, man. Yeah, Lonesome Dove's the shit. You're gonna love it. Yeah, you fly through that book, man. Like I feel like the Stand. Yeah, I love it every bit as much as Lonesome Dove probably, but it's like yeah, it actually like would feel long sometimes. Lonesome Dove never felt long at all, at all. You're very sweet, Derry. Glad I couldn't scare you off with this face. You know, it's the one I was born with. But hey, thank you so much for stopping by. It's good to see you. Happy New Year. Talk soon. Hey, Esme, what's up, man? How are you? It's so good to see you. Thank you. You're the best. She has great reviews, you guys. I read some of her reviews sometimes. I'm like, wow, I wish I could write like that. I wish I could talk like that, you know? So she's great. Check out her stuff. Is it an online game? If it's an online game, probably not. I'm I'm very set in my ways, the solo campaign, that's my type. I like some open world games and stuff like that, but I'm still the single player experience, you know? Save player 1, I think is one of the things that I kinda resonate with. If I do anything else, I love some split screen, you know, with my kids or my wife or something, but, we were playing this, we played the Switch 2 board and they have so far. It was a game called Split Fiction, which is a really neat idea. So these 2 characters, one's a sci-fi writer, one's a fantasy writer, and they get this offer to have their book published. They go to this thing, and it's like big tech. They're trying to steal all these authors' ideas. They put them in this machine, and it puts them in like a virtual reality world of their story, but they're trying to rob all the ideas that these authors have. And so you're kind of going back and forth between these 2 characters. One's the sci-fi writer, and one's the fantasy writer, going back and forth between those worlds. It's a really neat idea. It really is. I was like, this is actually quite good for a video game storyline. But yeah, I think there's some good stuff out there. It really is. Oh, once that Marvel umbrella kinda ran out, and I don't think they ever had Disney Star Wars figured out. They just got lucky with Mandalorian. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, olds do it too. Absolutely. I think the loudest experience I ever had with adults in the theater was went with my wife to see the Sex and the City movie. Remember that? I I didn't have any problems with this. I thought it was fine. She supported me through a lot of things. I'm gonna support her and go see Sex and the City with her, which I enjoy. I enjoy. And I the women in the theater were actually, like, talking to the screen like they were in the scene. So, that was a very, very interesting experience, but it kinda made it fun. Hey, you got it. You keep doing what you do. I love your hustle. You kick ass. You read so much faster than I do. I don't have it yet. Like I said, I got Assassin's Creed Shadows because it was a deal. It was like, what, $25 for, like, the with the download content included, and I said, "Well, shit, I'll do that." Ghost of Yotei hasn't, dropped in price yet, so, I haven't even finished Ghost of Tsushima. I don't finish anything anymore, man. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, we played Takes Two. What's up, AK? What's up with tech? What's going on? I have my our messages muted right now because I'm doing this live stream, but I heard that they changed their name to the Texas Turnovers, and I hope everything's okay. You're here, so I'm thinking that tech isn't doing too well right now. Yeah, hopefully the Rockets play better for us. This guy right here, y'all, this was the only guy I knew who read fantasy books before I started this channel. The only guy I knew in real life that read fantasy books. He got me to read Brandon Sanderson. So you know what? I feel like Armin, he actually has a lot of credit for me creating this channel. He absolutely does because, you know, I took him forever to read the first law books. I got him to read the first law books, but I felt like I needed to talk to somebody more about some of these fantasy books, and that's why I started this. But yeah, Armin, he's part of the origin story here. Absolutely, one of my best friends. One of my best friends, and I hate that he moved to another state. He, he's gotta do what works for him, though. We gotta buy a quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is not walking through that door. Is it over? They got shut out? Jeez. Yeah, you're the best, brother. Man, that sucks. Oh gosh. Well, yeah, yeah, see, so I think, AK, you can be a full-on bulldog now. Come on, bro. Come on, climb on. Climb on. SEC, SEC, SEC. Yeah, oh, yeah, Project Hail Mary is my book of the year, I think, in 2021. Whatever year it came out, that's my book of the year. Brother, thank you. I appreciate it. Jordan, man, it was amazing to meet you in California, in Carolina. It was so cool getting to hang out with you, man. It was one of those things where I felt like we knew each other already, you know? And I think that's what was really, really just so enjoyable about that trip, was seeing people we've only talked to like this or, you know, in comments, whatever, and we get together. and it's like we just knew each other. It's great. And congratulations on fatherhood, man. There's nothing better. And Jordan, he shares my joy of being married to a redheaded woman and knowing the adventure of that every single day. But yeah, getting to hang out with you, man, was a blast. Thank you so much. And I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys. What's coming? What's coming next for you, man? It's gonna be you'll be an awesome dad. I ain't worried about you at all. I understand. I mean, what was the last time Indiana won anything football? I got no problems. I got no problems with being hated. People tell me like, "Oh, anybody but Georgia." Yeah, whatever. It's cool. You're allowed to think that. I'm an NWO fan, baby. I love being the bad guy. It's fine. Yeah, Rocky's the best. I am. I think that my oldest kid will absolutely love it if they adapt it just like the book. I think he'll love it, man. It'll be great. See, Armin's too humble to admit that he's the Lee Al-Gaib, proving even more that he is the Lee Al-Gaib. Yes, absolutely. Let's see here. Memories of Vice. Yes, man. Memories of Vice is good. Very, very good. It's one of those where you at first you're still kind of, why does he keep giving me all these new characters? And then you're like, okay, this is some good shit. There's some nightmare shit in this book, though, man. I mean, Memories of Vice was before Bone Hunters. I was like, it was the last like great one I think I'd read. My second favorite in the series is Dead House Gates, but man, Memories of Vice would probably be third. It's a really damn good book. And anytime you got dinosaurs with freaking swords for arms, man, that's awesome. That's definitely awesome. I do not. I do not, and I do not have the answer to this question. Not the United States. That's what I know about the World Cup. I know Messi finally won one, and yeah, they can play for 3 hours and end in a 0-0 tie, and you can actually win a game by free kicks, and that's just not exciting to Americans. At least not most Americans. I think there's a lot of Americans who do enjoy it. But knowing that group that I'm a part of, I mean, we talk about sports all the time, and whenever they start talking about soccer, I just kind of fall in the background and say, "Damn it, Donnie, you're out of your element." I'm not going to jump in there at all. But it's the most popular sport world for a reason. For me in the states, it's American football, and it can't be touched. So that's why I have that shirt that says "football, not football," and I know that rubs some people the wrong way. And it's like, don't take it personally, man. It's just a Texas thing. When it comes to King, I've only read half of Four Past Midnight, though I have seen way too many of the movie adaptations of this book. A few of them are really great. Yeah, there's some good ones. Everybody talks about how awful the adaptations are, but it's like the ones that hit really, really hit because they follow the storyline. It's just my elbow. I don't need that. Batman or Spider Man? I mean, that's like ask me which one of my kids I love more. Probably Batman, even though I was forever. Batman, Spider-Man, Superman. That's my three. That's my trio. Any movie they put out, I'll go see. My kid remembered that, by the way, when I told him that, because like the new Superman was coming out like a week before. He's like, "So when are we going?" I'm like, "Oh, you remember that?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah." So, yeah, it's tough. Peter Parker, Spider-Man only, and of course just Bruce Wayne. So Batman Beyond, whatever. You can give us with that, but just straight Batman from the comics, like Frank Miller era. Man, that's some shit, right? I love it. Yeah. I would appreciate that. It definitely. I get that. I know this. I know that most readers don't seem to be big sports people. I get that. I was that anomaly in high school where I was a jock. I was a weirdo who sang, but I also loved to read. And it was like people acted like you had to pick one. If you were a jock, you couldn't like read books or nothing, or you couldn't do anything intelligent. You couldn't be cultured enough to want to sing. But it was just one of those where it's like I never really had like that big clique of friends in high school. It's like I liked everybody. I got along with everybody. I think that's kind of the way that I want to do here. Where I say I don't care what your background is. I don't care what you're into. You like to read, man. You're welcome here. And that's just kind of always the way I've approached stuff. I don't think we should be bound, segregated by our likes and dislikes. I don't think that's something we should do. So, but I try not to talk about sports too terribly much on the channel because I know that isn't something that everybody's into. Geralt versus Conan versus Crows, probably Conan. He's the smartest of the three, I think. I think there's a lot of Conan and Kratos for sure. I think the only person I can't pick against in any of those hypothetical fights is Darrow from Red Rising. He has no problem cheating to win. He'll find a way. He will find a way to do it. There we go. Yeah. Use so many Big Lebowski lines on my kids, they have no idea what I'm talking about. I tried to use "You never fucking with the Jesus" 'cause, that probably wouldn't go over well, but, oh, no, I used to be a karaoke master, man. I don't do that very much anymore, since my bar days died down. Plus, I'll do it around the house just for fun sometimes. Can't play an instrument, though. I got little girly hands. I can never play guitar. Never got used to being able to play guitar. Tried to learn piano, didn't really work for me, and I just realized, yeah, yeah, no, I can play one instrument, the voice. That was it, but I don't even know where that's at anymore, you know? I all the time, people tell you, "Hey, you have a really good speaking voice." I'm like, "You know what? So believe it or not, most people that can talk really, really well have a good speaking voice, probably good singers too." Remember when I got Phil to sing Dear Mr. Fantasy on his channel, people were like, "Whoa, holy shit, Philip can sing." I'm like, I think most people who have a really good speaking voice are probably good singers if they can hold a note. I don't know, maybe if John over at Talking Story ever puts together a BookCon or whatever, we can get together and do some kind of karaoke thing and have fun. I told Brian he needs to come out here because I know Brian does a lot some karaoke. Maybe he'll come out here and karaoke with me. I have before a couple of videos. I've done it before. I think my best friend's exorcism. I was singing. What did I sing? Against All Odds by Phil Collins. I've done it before. That was one of my biggest regrets this year, not picking that as one of the series I was going to continue with. Oh man, yeah. If something falls off, like I read a book one of a series and I say I ain't gonna do it, I'll pick up Kagan for sure. I'm glad you liked it as much as I did, man. It was really good. And honestly, I'm reflecting and I'm like, that was the hardest cut I think for my top 10 of the year was Kagan the Damned. It was right there, man. It was just a stacked year. Oh yeah, we used to do Rock Band. Kids, the Rock Band Guitar Hero was pretty much over by the time my kids were old enough to play, but we had tried to show them a couple times. They just thought it was weird. But yeah, yeah, when you could actually like sing the songs, it was so exciting. I usually stick mostly with the classics. Bad Company. I have like the same vocal range as Paul Rogers, which sounds like a humble brag. It's not. I'm definitely not saying I'm as good as Paul Rogers. I'm just saying that's my wheelhouse. So Rock and Roll Fantasy is always a go-to. I love to sing some Bad Company. I'm one of those that always like I like the songs that I can't sing, like Fleetwood Mac or ZZ Top or something like I couldn't actually hit those notes. Like, sorry, I can't sing like Stevie Nicks. Sorry, I can't do it. But I'm always that type where I'm like, I want to sing the songs that I can't, like Chris Cornell or something like that. But yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun. And you know what? I honestly think that my lack of fear of speaking in front of people came from singing at a young age. Because like if you could sing a cappella in front of a group of strangers, you can talk to them with no problems, because you're bearing your damn soul when you're singing, and you're very much expecting to be rejected when you're doing that. So yeah, it's a gift, I think, and I never took it for granted. It helped me a lot to be able, like I said, to speak in front of groups and stuff and helped in my career. Tusk is a great album. It's no Rumors, but it's still very good. I would tell people all the time, Tusk would have so much more respect if it didn't come after Rumors. That really, really just it's like trying to be the follow-up like Bad. I think Bad was almost as good as Thriller, but it wasn't Thriller. It came after the most popular album of all time. It's really, really well. I mean, I listen to Fleetwood Mac constantly. It's my favorite top 5 band of all time. Yeah, I love them. Oh gosh, I'm more of a Phil guy with Genesis than Peter. So I really love Invisible Touch. I walk this way, not walk this way, the way we walk. I can't. What's it called? Anyway, Genesis. God, it's been a while since I've actually like listened to albums. I've gotten so used to just I make my own playlists of Phil Collins and I add the Genesis Phil Collins and regular solo Phil Collins together that I almost forget like what some of these albums are. But I have them all. I own them all. I'm a huge Phil Collins fan, like massive. Like I have everything. I own everything that he's ever released. So I'm just having a hard time thinking about which albums right now. But I love Invisible Touch, man. That's such a great. Is that even the name of the album? The one that has a visible touch on it. Thank you, Scott. I tell people all the time, I was like, it's not that your album's bad. It's just that Rumors is so perfect, and I had a thing recently was, like, talking about, like, your top your 4 island albums, like, you only had 4 albums the rest of your life, and while I might not pick Rumor as my favorite album of all time, I wouldn't get upset if someone else did. It's one of those where I was like, it would be in that 4. Rumors has 0 bad tracks on it, it's incredible, especially the remaster or the re-release, which has, Silver Springs on it. You know, the song that Stevie Nicks was too considered too personal to release at the time. Now that being considered part of Rumors, perfect, perfect ass album, man. So good. You guys are like right now, he's just talking about dinosaur rock. Doesn't matter, man. Go and listen to Rumors. It doesn't matter what generation you're from. That album will click for you. Oh, no doubt, man. Big Philly style is where it was at, man. Absolutely. I can't dance. Thank you. I was like, we can't dance. What am I doing? Yes. Hell yes. You'll be on my heart slaps, baby. Ah, that was a little ba da ba boo da ba ba. Yeah, it's a little too much. The one he did with, was it NSYNC? Yeah. Yeah, man, yeah. God. I love it. I think I'll probably fit one in somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Dress is always good times. Hello, I must be going. I tend to lean No Jacket Required. No Jacket Required is wow. Wow, again, just brilliant production. It was like besides Prince, I couldn't think of anybody that was doing production that sounded that clean back then, man. Appetite's a hard album not to have, no doubt. I think I did Beatles, the White Album, which I think is the best album of all time, just because of the influence. Because like every type of music you can imagine, R&B, blues, country, rock, hard rock. The Beatles did that with the White Album in '68. They did everything on that album. So I will always put that as my favorite. Led Zeppelin 4, obviously, is up there. Thriller, and I say Rumors. That's my top 4 albums of all time. But yeah, Appetite for Destruction, that was my coming of age album, man. That was it. That came out when I was 8, and it changed everything for me, no doubt. Appetite's the greatest. Wow, I never got to see Genesis live. I saw Phil for his it's funny, it was called his first farewell tour. It was in 2004. It was not his farewell tour. Ah, there we go. There's the tough one. I think it's one of those where people will want to say Prince because of the troubles and the weirdness of Michael Jackson and the trouble that he got into, but you're just talking like just talent alone. I mean, it's a flip a coin. I think they're both. Prince could play guitar like nobody thinks about Prince as just an amazing guitar player. He was absolutely amazing on the axe. He really was. Incredible songwriter, one of the best songwriters ever. But Thriller, man, I mean, Thriller is one of those albums, again, like I said with Rumors, where it doesn't matter what generation you are, you put that album on, you're gonna like it. It's just so damn good. Hey, man, I'm happy. In the end, I want people to enjoy things. I never want to be a wet blanket. I'll tell you my opinion on something. If I don't like it, absolutely. But when it comes to just people being excited for something, man, I tell people all the time, like all the people bitching right now that people are seeing Avatar, bitching about people talking about the last episodes of Stranger Things. It's like, shut up. Let people enjoy shit. I don't know why this is so hard for you, but it's that's the not so good part of social media is, anybody can be amplified. Just how it works. I mean, I guess technically you're listening to my opinions right now. So complaining about people complaining about people complaining about others' opinions. That's where I've been. We're taking this Inception 3 levels deep. 3 levels deep. Most are going to go dark side. I mean, I'm looking at your name here, and I'm thinking you might go Dark Side of the Moon. Believe it or not, I go The Wall. I think that The Wall is a better album. I think that Dark Side's perfect. It is. Don't misunderstand me. The Wall is a perfect double album. So that's where I kind of lean is that the Wall is just phenomenal. I don't think it gets nearly as much love just because it came after Dark Side. But yeah, The Wall's awesome. Now you've got Fleetwood Mac and you've got Bowie in there. You pass the test. You absolutely pass the test. Talk about greatest songwriters of all time. Bowie is up there, no doubt. I'm not one of those who considers it sacred enough that they can't do it if they do it right. I just feel like Some things in the '80s just had kind of that '80s charm, and they worked, and I think Highlander's one of them. You try to make something like Highlander so overly super serious, and no one's gonna you're not gonna be having any fun, and I think that Highlander was fun, and I don't know necessarily that you can make it now without wanting to feel like this is serious business, and it's just gonna take all the fun out of it. That's what I'm worried about. I wish I could have seen Oasis, man. I'm glad they stopped fighting long enough to have some reunion tours and stuff. But I think of my generation, Gen X, I was like, that was like the closest thing we had to feeling like, hey, this is kind of like our Beatles. They were obviously very highly inspired by the Beatles. They were never going to be the Beatles. I mean, who was? But it was one of those where I was like, I feel like I'm hearing a band on the radio right now that I would hear like if like the Beatles had been together still or something. So I always appreciated Oasis quite a bit. Yeah, at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame show, that was incredible. And I mean, you're talking about a guy that was already incredible at Eric Clapton did that solo for George Harrison on that song. And to have Prince come up and do that and shred it, it was incredible. Absolutely amazing. Really? It's got a lot of music references. I didn't know that. It's the first I've heard that. Do you remember in Appetite for Destruction, like when it first came out, it had like that X-rated art on the inside? Man, that was something we got passed around the classroom as kids, no doubt. And I'm like, I can't believe they were allowed to put shit out like that in the '80s, man. Yeah, the '80s were wild. It was truly the Wild West, man. That's the eclectic mix right there. Phil Collins, Queen, Taylor Swift, and maybe Rod Stewart. But I'm down. I feel it. I'm not one of those that's like, oh, every modern artist sucks. No, definitely not. Definitely not. I think I'm just a music lover. I really am. I have gotten to that point now where I'm like, you get a certain age and you think everything on the radio sucks. Yeah, I do. I tend to stick to my 70s, 80s, 90s rock. I do. But there's plenty of stuff out there for everybody. And I can hear a song that my wife or my kids are listening to and be like, that's not bad. It's pretty good. They're clearly talented, you know. Respect for Rod Stewart, by the way. I didn't get enough run. Best Rush song, possibly choose between Subdivisions and Limelight. Gosh, man. Fudge. I mean, anything from 2112, probably. It's like 2112 is just like put that album on and let it go. 2112 is an experience. I think that was like my first concept album. That 2112 was just so good. Spirit of Radio, really. I love Red Barchetta. That's kind of an underrated Rush tune. I don't think that there's any song in the world that'll make you want to air drum solo like Tom Sawyer, right? I mean, that's the best. But yeah, Rush is so mega talented. And I remember getting in arguments with guys in high school that were like, "Oh, I don't like Rush because I can't stand Geddy Lee's voice." I'm like, "Yeah, I get it, but man, don't ever say that they suck because they are so musically gifted." And Neil Peart, best drummer of all time, man. It's not even close. He was amazing. Thank you, Asho Katano. Thank you so much. Just started on the first Law series. It's fantastic. I'm on the second book for 2026. I want to finish the Dune Saga, Books of Babel, and read the first Law. Read a lot more Malazan. Get books 6 and 7. Keep hustling, man. There's some good books you got picked out there. I haven't done Books of Babel. I've been putting those off for a few years now. That's the Josiah Bancroft ones, right? I think, yeah. I keep putting that one off. I have them. I still intend to do it. Just not this year. Dune, see how far you go. I tell everybody all the time, if you're still liking it after Children's over, yeah, maybe do God Emperor. But you know what? I recommend people stop there because that was where Frank's full story kind of stopped. He didn't get to finish his story, and you don't want to get to the part where his little shitheel son takes over. Trust me, you do not. Not if you truly enjoy the series. At least that's my opinion. I have very, very biased opinions on that. And hey, you might be caught up with me on Malazan here pretty soon. Keep hustling, man. Bone Hunters is amazing. You're gonna love it. What book you bought the most versions of? Dune. I mean, I still have my high school copies. There's too much nostalgia for me to get rid of them. Actually, my paperback copy of the first Dune broke because I read it so many times. It split in half, and I still kept it for a while. I finally let it go and got that new paperback version they put out a couple years back. But yeah, it's Dune. I've got Folio Say. I've got deluxe editions. I've got all kinds of stuff of Dune. Yeah, no doubts. Favorite book ever. Can you ever have enough copies of your favorite book ever? I mean, I can't. I definitely can't. Thank you for the super. I appreciate that. Oh, I pray, man. We don't talk about music enough, Sky. I can do this all day. It's like people all the time will talk about, "Oh, I didn't know you're such a big music lover. I didn't know you're such a sports fan." Like, obviously I try to stay on brand. It's what they teach you in business school for marketing. Stay on brand. So that's something I've always wanted to kind of do. That's why I started a secondary channel. But man, yeah, I'm a humongous music fan, and I feel like my knowledge has started to slip a little bit. But every once in a while, I just get in that mode where I find something that I haven't listened to in a long time, and I just rabbit hole on 70s or 80s music for like a while. And for me, it's just been like, look, Stevie Nicks is my favorite female performer of all time. I think Stevie Nicks is amazing. And so I've just been just nothing but like Fleetwood Mac for like the last month. And I don't regret it at all. I like her solo stuff too. She's great. She's great. So could talk about that all damn day. Xanadu's a good pick, man. Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll happen. I definitely think it'll happen. For me, it's always one of those things where I never try to say too far in the future because, YouTube bubble could burst for creators any day. There's a lot of money being handed around. Creators are kind of getting pushed off. There's a lot of people getting frustrated with the overlords and they're leaving the platform. I don't think as long as you guys are watching and talking to me, I'll keep doing it. But I never want to say, oh yeah, well, maybe by 2029, who knows what this app will be by that point. I'm happy it's lasted as long as it has. I've enjoyed this stretch of being a creator. It's been really, really rewarding in a lot of aspects. But yeah, I think it'll happen. No doubt. I'll get there. It's still on my shelf. I haven't got rid of it. So best place to get deluxe editions. I mean, I think Broken Binding. I'm pretty biased. I think honestly, for what Broken Binding does, they're not overly expensive, depending on where you live, because it's the shipping that's really a lot. But like you compare like their editions with Folio Society, they're a third of the price or a quarter of the price. I do think that Folio Society puts a lot more work in their binding, maybe, than their materials. It's a lot more sturdy, I think, is the big complaint that Broken Binding gets. But I think if you can get on the subscriber list for Broken Binding, it's definitely the way to go. And I'm not just saying that because, I've got a partnership with them. I wanted a subscription to Broken Binding before that happened. They make such beautiful books. If you know, you know. No, I will not do AI. I even got some people telling me like, "Hey, if you're ever struggling with writing, sometimes Chat GPT can help you get out of stuff." And I was like, I don't want to rely on an AI to write my book for me. Why would I do that? It's like I would rather have a professional author or editor go through a story for me and tell me, okay, we're going to polish this, we're going to clean this up. Because I know my sentence structure and shit is terrible. I know I repeat the same line over and over again. I do these things, but I would rather that than to just type a paragraph and then punch it into Chat GPT to tell me how I should type it. Because it's like, are you even telling the story then at that point? You're just having an idea and you're having a computer do it for you. So I know it's a resource that a lot of people value, and I'm glad that they value it. To me, it's like I just feel like that's not you telling the story anymore. That's some program telling your story for you. And so I'm trying not to do that. Who is Paul Weller? I'm drawing a blank. I'm gonna Google this. I should know this. Paul Weller. Who's Paul Weller? I keep thinking of Peter Weller. That's RoboCop. What band is he from? Paul Weller. Let's see here. Is he from a band or is he just a solo artist? I feel like I should know this, but I don't. If he's a solo artist, I don't. I'm not. I guess I'm not familiar with him. I don't recognize him looking at his picture right now. The Jam. No, I'm not familiar with him, but looks like he's been around for a while. So maybe I'll check him out. That's one thing I gotta tell you guys is I am always like I'm tired of so many subscriptions and stuff. But one that I will pay for happily every single month without a doubt ever? Amazon Music. I think it's so good. Amazon Music has everything I ever want to hear. And unlike a lot of the other music companies out there, I feel like their algorithm is so good. You listen to like a string of songs, it starts to form, and you're going to hear what you want. I think it's the only one. Pandora never did it right for me. Spotify never did it right for me. It doesn't have the ads Spotify has. I love Amazon Music, man. I never turn it off. I never turn it off. It really is. I'm listening to it right now Well, I talked to you guys. It just played Heart. Heart's amazing. I hope the microphone isn't picking any of this up and I get this video, struck down. But still, I love Amazon Music. That's one I will happily pay $6 a month for. And I never have to worry about downloading my music to my phone or making sure that I bought the digital version. I'm real big about, hey, if I pay for it, I want to own it. But if this is how I'm going to do it, I'm fine with that. It's fine for me not to have to carry my CD collection with me everywhere. It's great to be able to listen to whatever I want, whenever. There's my how Amazon wins. I'm a big supporter of Amazon Music. I love it. I never turn it off. It's great. Oh my god, man. Jeez, this one, it's like it'll change 5 minutes from now. I mean, you're asking me right now if I was on Amazon Music and pulled up Guns N' Roses, what I'd actually play probably November Rain. I mean, November Rain's just, the epic that you can never really get. That's their Stairway. That's their version of Stairway, I think. But, yeah, I'd probably go November Rain, or so every once in a while, I'll go to, like, Night Train or Out to Get Me, one of them deeper cuts from Appetite, and just really just jam out. You're Crazy. You really just sort of in a pissed off mood. Gosh. I think that Appetite for Destruction is one of those albums, if it comes on the car, you're like, "Shit, I'm doing 110 right now," and I didn't realize it. It's like, "Kickstart My Heart" by Motley Crue. It's like there's a possible not the speed. See, there we go. Thank you. I agree. I think what with Spotify was just the ads, and I just felt like the algorithm was never really learning what it was that I liked. So that's why I've kinda yeah, Rocket Queen's good shit. Good shit. But that breakdown at the very end, where it turns into a ballad at, like, the last moment. It's like basically like, I'm gonna fuck you," and it's like, "I love you so sweetly and dearly, and I can't live without you." It's like, where'd that come from? But, yeah, yeah. It was a good peek of what Guns N' Roses was gonna become, that they were the bad boys of rock, but they also had a tender side. It's really, really good. Great, great band. It's a shame that they couldn't get along longer to have, 10, 12 great albums instead of, like, 4 or 5 like they do. Glad they've worked it out so long to tour, and I got to see them live. I never thought I'd see Axl and Slash together live. That was a blast. I mean, I saw them way back in their heyday, but I never thought I'd get a chance to see them again, I guess I should say. And that was fun. That was a great show. We paid $500 for those tickets for the Guns N' Roses reunion show. I would have paid more. It was that good. That's how good that show was. Really, really. That's like 2016 or so now. Jeez. Crazy to think they've been back reunion touring for like a decade now. Nuts. Okay. About the Paul Weller. I'm gonna check them out. I've got the page bookmarked right here so I can check it out if we get off of here. I mean, there's lots of stories out there about, things that were I do think that when you're a celebrity, you're kind of a target. And I think that a lot of us things were misunderstood, but it's probably a topic we shouldn't jump into here. I'll do a free trial of music research title. Okay. All right. Do you know how many times I did BMG music, 12 CDs for a penny? I mean, that's how I built my collection when I was younger, no doubt. A Ronald Malfi tier list? I don't know if I'm doing that, but I could probably do like a ranking or something eventually. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe a why you should read Ronald Malfi. I don't know. We'll see. Like I got a lot of people to read Blackmouth this year, so that was good. That was encouraging. I am just a guy with Wi-Fi, but I'm glad you enjoyed the book, man. That's excellent to hear. Yeah, think about I go back and of all my Stephen King videos, The Stand is the one that has the most views, and I know why. I know why. I had planned to do Into the Multiverse, which was doing them in publication order, every single read is what I was gonna do. So I had the schedule planned out before The Writer Shall Not Be Named. But right when I was doing The Stand, it was literally right when lockdown was happening, and people were curious about The Stand, and they were thinking, "Oh, this is something that's gonna wipe us all out," and I think that's why that video took off like it did. But, yeah, no, 99.6% of the population died. It was clearly not the same, but, yeah, that's why that video took off, I think. I remember when Jim Butcher told me he watched it, I was like, "Fucking really?" Yeah, it was wild. Sebastian's awesome, man. He was much like Axl, he was a very abrasive personality. He's a very, very large personality, and he was hard to get along with, I think. When they made a Skid Row album without him, I was like, "Dude, man, this is dumb." But, yeah, I saw him solo before, and he just did nothing but Skid Row songs. It was awesome. I remember using great power ballad, man. So, yeah. 18 in Life's the jam. Slave to the Grind. I love that song. I haven't used the Kobo enough really to say, but it's kinda hard to let go of the convenience of the Kindle. It really is. And that's where I say I'm part of the problem, is I try to take a stand against Amazon, and then I'm like, it's too hard. It's too hard, you know? Oh, are you still delinquent to Columbia House? Because you didn't even have to use, like, your real name to get them to send you stuff? I don't know how that company stayed solvent for so long, really. I mean, there's some personalities that, they can be abrasive, but they're somehow magnetic, that can happen sometimes. Like, I mean, I definitely don't think I have the best personality, but I definitely don't think I'm abrasive. If I was abrasive, I think I'd quit. I would definitely quit doing what I'm doing because last thing I want to do is come off as that or bossy or type A personality because I'm not. Absolutely not. So I miss let's talk about Bad Dance, man. Bad Dance was it in '89. I was about that. Definitely about that. No, that was right before he went and became this, but then he came back as Prince, but I mean, you can take Scott, you can take any Beatles album from 65 forward and say it was your favorite Beatles album, and I would listen to it. Not that I didn't like their Yeah, Yeah, Yeah years, but 65 to me is when they hit their stride as songwriters. Rubber Soul, I think that Let It Be is a very under I don't know why Let It Be gets the crap it does. Abbey Road is obviously perfection. Revolver is incredible. I mean, there's nothing they did during that stretch. Magical Mystery Tour, Sergeant Pepper's, these are all, like, maybe top 50 albums of all time, and they're all from the same band. So underrated, man. You can't say that maybe the most popular band ever is underrated, but I think with current generations, it's just so much more fun to say, "Oh, the Beatles were overrated," that I now think they become underrated. It's sad to say that. But yeah, I got the poster right here. I mean, the Beatles are my Beatles, Led Zeppelin, everybody else is what I used to say. Am I not reading the questions out loud? Sorry. Sometimes I just start getting into a conversation. I'll try to read the questions if you're just listening. Tool is a band I really do love. I think that they kind of I feel like they wasted a lot of time taking so long between albums, but again, musically gifted as hell. Danny Carey is such an amazing rock and roll drummer. He's really just the greatest, man. And the thing was I saw Tool live, and it was like seeing him drum, like, during The Grudge, which is just like this ripping, shredding drum solo at the very end of that song, just, like, going crazy, or H, just, like, just incredible drum solos, and he just looks so effortless. He's up there in his Celtics jersey going, "Is this over yet, or did I leave the garage yet?" That's what he looks like. A talented guy, man. Very, very talented. They weren't the first Beatles weren't the first boy band, but, I definitely think that British invasion, they were a big part of it, and they were kinda became the staple or the model for it going forward, and I think that's why they changed their style and said, "We don't wanna do the boy band thing like all the other British invasion bands are doing. We wanna do something different." They stopped touring because nobody could hear them over everybody screaming, and they became incredible creative artists in the studio only. Oh, for sure, that's why I push, something like Rumors or something like Rush, because I'm like, see what really creative musicians were doing when they were really just trying to not let the machines do it all for them. No auto tune, guitar solos, like a whole generation growing up not knowing what a guitar, the joy of a guitar solo is just depressing. It really is. It's really, really depressing. Boy's Life. Now that's a great book right there, man. I'm happy to hear that. Happy to hear more people are giving McCammon a try. Because when I remember when I talked about Boy's Life and Swan Song, I was like, no one was talking about it on BookTube, and I was like, why? This guy is incredible. Why is this not happening? So I'm glad more people are getting back at it. Yeah, I think the Enema is probably my favorite Tool album, just because it was the one that really just like I mean, it just blew me away when I heard it for the first because I remember I had Undertow and I was like, I liked it. That came out in high school, but like Enema came out my senior year. I was like, this is something different. Really, 46 and 2 kicked my ass. Stink Fist was amazing. I talked about H. Eulogy. Eulogies are really just this rock epic that you wouldn't expect. in that time period that it came out. It's like no other band was doing anything like this. So yeah, Tool definitely they get a lot of respect out of me. They were when everybody else was zigging, they were zagging in the '90s, no doubt. Plus, they're big Bill Hicks fans, which is one of my favorite stand-up comics of all time. I got to respect that. Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst. It's for how authors feel about AI. That's how that's definitely how people who sing feel about autotune. It's like you're not doing it. You're letting a machine do it for you. That's why I said that's why I won't use ChatGPT. It's just like, no, I'm not doing that. And Derpy's a great resource, man. Derpy's the one who pushed me to read Larry McMurtry. So I'll always be thankful to Brian for that. No, no, I know what you meant. I know what you meant, man. I'm not reading the questions out loud. Like I said, when I get to this point of the stream in the hour number 3, I usually just start just like we're having a conversation at the bar. Have I watched any Bollywood movies? If I have, does RRR count? I don't know if that's Bollywood or not. I have no idea, but I'm not against it. Like I said, right now, I'm so disillusioned with Hollywood that I look for anything original at this point. I don't care if I gotta read subtitles. I'm a reader. Of course, I don't mind. We started using subtitles when the kids were born because you can't hear anything, and now we can't stop. Like, to the point that, like, when we go to a movie theater, my wife's upset and she doesn't know what anybody's saying. She's so used to just reading subtitles. Ah, Pussifer's alright. I like Perfect Circle much better, but, whatever, whatever. But Maynard's incredible. I mean, he's just got you think if you're in a studio or you're in a lab creating a rock and roll voice, I mean, you gotta think Maynard's one of them for sure. He's incredible talent. I haven't. There's a couple I still haven't read. I said at this point, I'm just gonna do it in the into the multiverse order. Like, I think I'll be doing Blaze for the first time this year. There's a couple others. I've read most of those during that breakup stretch I had with them, and I haven't read the last couple Holly books because I just don't care. I just don't care at all. Any love for Bob Marley and the Wailers? I discovered Bob and was even better than people remember. World legendary isn't good enough. Bob's one of those where I'm like, I like what I've heard, but I can never sit here and reel off 2 dozen songs of his like I could for like Stevie Wonder or somebody. He's obviously very influential and very important. And yeah, I would say his legacy is probably well earned, but I'm not as knowledgeable on him as I am on a lot of other artists, no doubt. Who's my favorite character of all time? Gosh, that's quite vast. I don't know. Gandalf? I have no idea. That's a tough question. It's a tough, tough question. What was your number 1 book you read this year and think I missed it? Well, that book was still there. You wanna go do it, but it was Mystic River. If you're in the hour 3 of the stream here, I don't care telling you it was Mystic River by Dennis Lehane, which was a Illuminati pick by Brian over at Belltube. He did a great job. Great, great job. I haven't. Also, are you the one who sent it to me? Yeah, I did get this one sent to me recently. I had no idea that Stephen King had done a version of Hansel and Gretel, but no, I have not. All the stuff that I get from viewers, I put over here until I do my book haul because I want to make sure that I remember to thank them for it. So I'm not reading anything out of that stack yet. Blaze surprised you with how much I enjoyed it. Great, awesome to hear. Awesome. That's how I felt when I read Revival. Is like I can't believe I didn't read this when it was new because this is spectacular. So I'm hoping to have that experience with some of these others. The second time I've heard this one come up, Expanse or Sun Eater, I think that they're different enough that you can enjoy both of them. They're both finished. I think I have a good time with either of them. Expanse is a little more adventure based, and Sun Eater a little more thought provoking. I think, but you can't really go wrong with either. I'm just glad to see people not comparing, asking Red Rising or Sun Eater for a change. That's nice. Eddie's a great pick. Absolutely a great pick. If you're disappointed about Hollywood and President, go back, discover all the great films you never saw. I mean, that's pretty much what we do here. We show our kids all the 80s and that. I'm Gen X. We believe that cinema peaked in the 90s. We really do. Right before CGI took over and practical effects were the best they had ever been. And you have something like Jurassic Park where you would see some advancements in technology and they still have aged so well because we didn't over abuse it. So yeah, I pretty much showed my kids like every 80s, 90s movie that I loved up to this point. And yeah, so we definitely go back and watch anything we haven't watched from that time period. I was never into ICP, but I thought that their artwork was really cool. Egwene is my favorite character and probably yours too, Mike. Oh, yeah, I love her. Can't get enough of Egwene, let me tell you. She's the best. Is it best to start the first all standalones with best or cold? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. They are standalones, but they do have, a connecting character in all 3 books. So I definitely think do in order, best or cold heroes in the Red Country, if you're gonna do them, definitely. I read the Odyssey, like, in college, the first try in college, so it's been a long time, and I'll be straight with you, it was a very, very tough read at, 20 years old. So, I don't know, I if I would try that again or not. I think Next is good, but I don't think that there's bad Michael Crichton books, so I think you might be asking the wrong person but yeah, if it's on sale on Kobo, sure, I say grab it. What did you think of Stranger Things finale? I mentioned this earlier, but it's been a while since we talked about it. Felt like they definitely played it safe a little bit, and I think the biggest problem for them is they didn't have the characters separate anymore. Season 4 worked so well because they had, like, 3 or 4 different groups of characters. They just had them all together, so you had so many characters just standing there not knowing what to do, and it was kind of they kinda shot themselves in the foot in that regard, just having such a large cast, and, yeah. Again, it wasn't awful. I'm not Game of Thronesing it like some people are. It definitely was one of my lesser favorite series, but you know what? At the end of the episode, I was teary-eyed, because I've enjoyed this ride, so I think it did most of what it needed to do. It just how could you finish that in a satisfying way for everybody? I'm not really sure if they could have. Not with just that last episode, because it was like once we got through episode 7, we're like, there's still a lot they gotta do. But I did appreciate the kind of the Return of the King having the long ending. I'm fine with that. The people joke about Return of the King having too many endings. I like the way that they did on Stranger Things. I needed that, because you did have that many characters. Let me know what's gonna happen with them. I appreciate that. Most people have streaming now. It'll be fun to watch you introduce people to older movies and series. It's kind of funny as we were watching, uh, what is it? Christmas Story and Christmas Vacation earlier this year on HBO, and they basically had, like, someone, like, introducing the movie, and I'm just like, "Who doesn't know about this movie?" But, yeah, that'd be fun. I think that would be a fun thing to do, talk about that's really what I created Mike's Meter used to do, and haven't been able to give it the attention that I wanted to. But I could talk to you all the time about movies I love. Like, we were watching When Harry Met Sally this morning, it's because of the passing of Rob Reiner, and that's one of my favorite movies ever. And, they've updated the streaming service to say, "In memory of Rob Reiner and his wife." And it was one of those, like, I should really get back to Mike's Mini Reviews and actually, like, talking about these movies I love quite a bit, and I could do something like you're saying. Did you see The Long Walk movie? We did. We went and saw it in the theater. We liked it quite a bit. Me and my wife cried twice. We've reviewed that one over on Mike's Media Reviews while we were still working. Movies peaked after the Lord of the Rings movies. It's starting to feel that way. Like, I think about when the Lord of the Rings movies are coming out, and I just don't feel like we'll ever have that experience again. It's a shame. It's a shame. The Winds of Winter or Doors of Stone? No. That's what I'll say. I think we'll get Winds of Winter. Maybe not while George is alive, but we'll get it. I don't think we'll see Doors of Stone. I don't think he has any interest in writing that. That's just my opinion. He can come out with it tomorrow, and I'll be like, "Oh, okay, I was wrong." Do I like murder mystery books? Not so much. Crime and mystery isn't exactly my bag, but, every once in a while, I'll find one, and it hits really, really well. Like, I guess you would call Mystic River somewhat of a mystery book, and, I liked it a lot. I read Agatha Christie and stuff in high school. That's really like the limits of my knowledge on it. It's not a genre I really gravitate towards. Great channel. Appreciate the time you put into it. You got me to Horror King Malfi so far. Keep it up. Thank you, Coltrane. I appreciate that. Is that a reference to John Coltrane? 'Cause that's a deep cut of stuff. Next is awful. No, it's definitely not for everybody. Hang on, Michael. I see your comment. I'm not sure what series you're referencing here. Did you mention it already? The more you're sitting on it, the more you like it. Are you talking about Stranger Things? What are we talking about? Hit me back if you get that one. Finished Dark Tower this year. Wizard and Glass is my favorite. Yeah, Wizard and Glass is one of those that like people either love it or they hate it. Me, I loved it. I wanted that back history of Roland his first got that. I wanted that story, so I was about it. But I get if some people aren't into the story derailing into a 450-page flashback. I get it. Definitely understand it. Happy New Year. As a kid, Tim Curry's Pennywise terrified me so much that even now at 31, I put off watching the It reboot till today. Such a creepy character. Probably one. It's probably a one-time watch. What I appreciate is, yeah, obviously we grew up with Tim Curry as our Pennywise. It's big, big clown shoes to fill. But I do appreciate that Bill has kind of made that version of the character his own. He didn't just do Tim Curry cosplay. He really did his own thing. And watching him do it again in Welcome to Dare just been like, oh, he loves playing this character, man. He's thrilled to be doing it again. And he really hit a home run. I think there's parts of Welcome to Dairy that are better than it part one and two. I do. The Black Spot was incredible. I think that if you've read the book, the stuff about the black spot was always just like a big old question mark for you. And getting to see it kind of on screen was really, really cool. And it's very rare when Stephen King fan fiction works out, but you can tell they were doing it with a lot of care. And Bill Skarsgård's all in on that role. So I don't think we've gotten quite a book accurate Pennywise, but they're both pretty good. Are you looking forward to Night of the Seven Kingdoms? I am, very much so. I think it'll be one of the easier adaptations they've had to make. I got to put dragons in it. There was no dragons at this time period, so it'd be easier for them. I watched The Princess Bride right after Rob passed. Yeah, dude, Rob Reiner. There was a stretch there from like 84 to 99. That guy had no misses. Like he was putting out a movie like every year, every other year, and they were all watchable or really, really great. I love When Harry Met Sally. Princess Bride is a perfect movie. I mean, it's one that I have watched so many times that I could put it on mute and recite every line and even hum the music if I had to. Probably at the same time. I think that there's no other movie out there that I quote more in a daily life than The Princess Bride. But I'm going to watch a bunch of his movies here. Thinking about watching Misery again, but really, Stand By Me has been watched endless times. But I need to revisit A Few Good Men. I haven't watched that since I was probably too young to really enjoy something like that. I wasn't really a political courtroom drama wasn't exactly my bag as a young man. But I think going back and watching it now, I'd probably like it a lot. But I do actually have The Sure Thing. I haven't watched in a long time. I'm planning to watch that one again. But yeah, Rob Reiner, he was an incredible filmmaker during that run. Really, really good. Rothfuss definitely not ever delivering Doorstone. I mean, at this point, I feel like you just have to be the ultimate optimist to think it's actually coming. Okay, Mikey, you were talking about Stranger Things. Yeah, in the end, I'll look back on it as one of my favorite shows ever. And you know what? It had a better final season than Lost did, and Lost is one of my favorite shows ever. So yeah, absolutely. I think if I could change anything, it would just be that they didn't take 6 years to make the last two seasons because that really, really mucked up the kids' ages. I mean, Mike looks like a full-grown man in the last episodes. Like, I don't believe that you're graduating high school right now. No, I don't. You look like you're graduating medical school. I just finished Project Hail Mary. It was amazing. Are there any other books that feel like that? I had The Martian. I mean, same author. I think if you like Project Hail Mary, you're gonna like The Martian. If you like The Martian, you're gonna like Project Hail Mary. Haven't read Artemis yet, so I can't tell you on that one. But yeah, I'd say read The Martian if you haven't. Roscoe P. Coach. No, yes, I'm a Gen X guy. Of course, I'm about the Dukes of Hazzard. Daisy Dukes are more than just a pair of shorts. I'm quite aware. I was all about them good old boys. Absolutely. I'm starting Lonesome Dove tonight. Enjoy the ride. Buckle up. Buckle up. It's gonna be a good time. You're gonna love it. I am absolutely certain you're gonna love it. Tim Curry's ability to go from good to bad in the same show was amazing and scary. The guy was underrated, man. He had such range. Incredible. I mean, from Rocky Horror Picture Show on, that guy was just dude, like something like Rocky Horror Picture Show wouldn't have worked without just the absolute bomb of nuclear bomb of charisma that Tim Curry was. That guy just drips. He just oozes charisma. Amazing. One of the greatest speaking voices I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Skarsgårds are incredibly talented. Like all of them act. All of them are great. Like, I think the one that people know the least about, forget his name, but he was on Vikings as Floki. He was so good on that show, like, so good. I wanted him to play Joker. I think he'd be a great Joker. But yeah, that family's severely talented, multi-generational actors now. Is it weird that I thought Large Marge was scary of Pennywise? My wife would agree with you, absolutely. We watched Pee-wee's Big Adventure with the kids, and she always, like, will turn around during that part. Tell 'em Large Marge sent you. I've been watching Castle Rock. Netflix didn't watch it back when it came out. Bill does a great job as the kid in that. I felt like Castle Rock had so much potential. That last episode was kind of a letdown. I didn't watch the second season, but yeah, seeing some king characters from other stories was really really good. Really really good idea. I liked it again, like I said, except the last episode was like ah. But yeah, Bill was always good. A Few Good Men's incredible. Put down the scales. Yeah, yeah. It's one of those where again, I think I saw it when I was just too young. Like we do that sometimes. Our parents would watch something and you watch with them. It happened a lot more, I think, of my generation than now. Is we just because if you didn't watch what they were watching, you probably weren't watching TV. But there was a lot of things I would watch, and I think I don't really like it because they made me watch it too early. Almost all my life, I thought it's a wonderful life. I just don't get why people love this movie. I just don't understand it, and I hadn't watched it since I was like 12. Watched it 2 years ago. Man, I was crying my eyes out. Like, this is a beautiful, amazing movie. So I think you see something a little too young, it's not going to hit hard. So I'm really really careful about showing my kids some movies I love because I'm like I don't want to ruin. Like I showed my youngest or my oldest, I showed him Gladiator too soon, and I was like, you know what? I just ruined maybe one of my favorite movies ever for him because I was excited to show it to him. So you got to be careful with those things. Don't try to push them on them too early. So yeah, I watched A Few Good Men when my parents were watching it. Top Gun too. It just didn't really make sense to me. So I probably really like it a lot now. I know I would like A Few Good Men now, definitely. But yeah, when it was brand new, it was like, yeah, not exactly what I was looking for. Probably recite Princess Bride in my sleep. I watched so many times. My best friend keeps telling me to read the book. Yeah, definitely. I tell people all the time. It's like the movie's great and it's a little bit of a different vibe, but that that book's in there. Hey, Mallory's here. Hey, Mallory, how are you? How do you feel about the change in the artwork style in Empire of the Dawn? I cheated and looked to see if a certain character was drawn. Not a fan of the change. I was reading from the arc and it didn't have all the art in it yet, so I haven't actually thumbed through it. I did not know that he changed artists. I didn't know this. So you're actually I'm learning this now for the first time. Uh, but yeah, I don't like that. I like the continuity. If you're going to do a trilogy, keep the same artist. But sometimes you just don't want to pay those rates. I get it, or the publisher doesn't want to pay the rates that artists are choosing now. And I keep saying, it sucks because a lot of people are going to the AI art now. But yeah, you look at something like what Jeff Brown did for Magician that I'm reading right now, and you're just like, oh my God, you're not getting that from AI art. It's impressive, and I appreciate it more. But yeah, it sucks. That stinks. I didn't know that he changed artists. Did you ever read the Warriors books? YA series about clans of cats fighting? No, I always told my wife that she should do it. She loves cats and she loves Redwall. And I was like, this looks like it's just Redwall with cats. And I've always tried to push it on her, but she's always just kind of laughs every time we see it in the bookstore. But there's dozens and dozens of those books. I think it's still going. It's really crazy. I saw a General Lee at a car show, and it was beautiful, beautiful, really good. Mike, are you going to do videos with Chris Rocky on your opinions about the Dune 3 release? Probably. We'll probably do that because Christopher has no problem voicing his opinions. He was very vocal about not liking Dune Part 1 and Part 2. The suspicions that I have about the direction they're going to go Part 3, I will probably be on that same boat with it. So it'll probably just be a 2-hour bitch fest. But if that's something you're here for, we will probably do that. I'll find more good than he will because I never thought I'd get to see these movies made with the budget that they're going to have. But yeah, we'll make a point to do that. Very excited to get Christopher's his next book. I think I'm going to be a part of his alpha readers for that. I'm very, very excited to see him write some fantasy. So I think he's going to be amazing. Yeah, no, you got it. You got it. Appreciate you. I think Stellan Skarsgård should play the Crimson King in an adaptation to make it family affair with his sons playing Flag and Pennywise. Wow, that'd be fun. I think that'd be a good pick, no doubt. For me, I hope that Mike Flanagan gets to make his version of Dark Tower. I think it'd be really, really good. Really, really good. Because I know him, he's gonna do it the way that it should be done. He's not gonna change it. Mike Flanagan's the type that, like, he'd just rather not do it than do it wrong when it comes to King stuff. Christy, hey, just wanted to wish you and your family happy New Year. Thanks for all your content and sharing your time with us. Hey, thanks for watching, man. I appreciate the hell out of it. In the end, if you guys ain't watching, I'm just talking to the void. So thank you guys. Well, I owe you everything. Have you gotten around to reading Stephen King's Joyland? It's amazing. The book that turned me into a constant reader of King in general. I have not. I'm not. I just read Colorado Kid for the first time this year. That was during my breakup period. But yeah, I absolutely will be reading Joyland really, really soon. It's gonna be fun. Can't wait. Doing dishes and found a shot of whiskey I left on the counter last night. Yeah, well, that's a bonus. You did the dishes. Now you get to warm up a little bit. Toss it down. Toss it down. Go for it. You have my permission. I'll tell your husband I said that. You have my permission. If I am an alpha reader, yes, I will be reading his book on time. Absolutely. Of course. There's not very many authors I would offer to do that for, but I'm so excited to see Christopher write some fantasy that absolutely I'd like to be a part of that, be part of the feedback. Flanagan dropping hints about when to do Dark Tower during Gerald's Being the movie called Gerald, yeah, All Things Serve the Bean. Yeah, it was in there. He's wanted to do it. He said that's his holy grail, and he actually has the rights now. It's just kind of convincing Amazon or whoever's going to be in control to fit the bill because you can't do the Dark Tower cheap. I don't think it's not going to work if you try. It's just going to look like The Witcher or something. So hopefully they don't do that. It just played Bee Gees. Bee Gees got some slapping songs. Everybody always says things about Saturday, Staying Alive or something, but Bee Gees got some really good songs, man. Talented, talented fellas. Really are. So gonna continue my dinosaur rock here for you. And now it's playing Tusk. Who someone earlier said Tusk was, the Tusk. Oh wow, very good. I love Amazon Music. It knows me. It knows me, man. The Dungeon Crawler Carl books are my funnest reads last year. Really loved the series. I can appreciate what those books are. And the first one was just spectacular. I had a blast with it. I think I'm just that type of reader where I just need more story, and it's just one of those things I just can't get past. So I know that's the part where everybody's going to talk. Well, you got to listen to the audiobooks, which I'm sure are great. I'm sure they are. Just can't do it. Just can't do it, Captain. Given all she's got. If you could only keep Red Rising under your expanse, what are you keeping? I'm keeping Red Rising, man. Red Rising is my shit. I love those characters so much. You just can't get rid of them for me. Like I said, Red God is going to have to be just dog shit for that not to be my favorite modern sci-fi series. It's hard. What do we see first? James Cameron's The Devils. We're playing against Dark Tower. Dark Tower. James Cameron's he's going to be doing Avatar until he retires. He's just going to be doing that. I don't begrudge him at all. I think he will always keep pushing the envelope forward, and he's going to do what he wants to do. And you know what? I think he's earned it. He's definitely earned it at this point. Now we might see a movie, The Devils, before we see an adaptation of Dark Tower, but I don't think it'll be James doing it. Have you read Durfee's books? I read 2 and a third. I I took a break while I was reading Lonesome Crown, and I just the time got away from me, and now I'm just like, I don't remember what was going on. I've never went back to it, but I definitely owe Brian to go back and finish it, no doubt. That's my bad. I told him he needs to do some write some recaps, and help someone like me who's taken like a 3 or 4 year break remember everything. Brian was like, "Yeah, yeah, I'll do that." He he shouldn't have to, right? I wish that Warner Bros. Allowed Mike Flanagan to adapt Dark Tower, tie into The Shining, Doctor Sleep, and It on Max. I mean, a shared universe for King would be absolutely phenomenal. It's just those rights are just everywhere. They're all over the place or whatever. But yeah, they've got those. That'd be neat. I could see Flanagan doing some Easter eggs, no doubt. Have you read Primal Hunter by Zogard? It's RPG style and it's very good. No, I haven't. That's the first I've heard of it. RPG, Let RPG, all that kind of stuff. It's all new to me. So I don't really have very much stuff to add to that. I always open, always open to these things. Thank you for the recommendation. Have you read Blake Crouch's new book, Famous? It's not new. I think it's a re-release, but no, I have not read it yet. It's just a new printing of it, but it's definitely on the list. I'm almost out of Blake Crouch books to read, but I was told by someone recently that they thought it was like Run except better, and I loved Run. I read Run in one day. I loved Run that much. Do you feel like trying to write something yourself has changed your perspective and experience when reading? No, no, not necessarily. But I think I will understand now when someone says, when an author will tell me, I'll say, "Hey, have you read that?" And they say, "No, I don't read other books while I'm writing because it distracts me, or I might start like ideas that they're using seep in and try to claim them as my own." I could definitely see that I don't read, very many love stories, so I don't really have anything like that, but if I was writing, like, a fantasy book or something, it'd be very hard for me to read another fantasy book at the same time because I just like I said, I wouldn't even without even knowing it, you would slip into your subconscious and you would start using some of those ideas in your story and not even realize that you're doing it, so I'm glad with that, I'm not doing that. When I was watching When Harry Met Sally this morning, I was just like, I don't know if I should be doing this. I feel like I'm gonna wanna steal some of these ideas from my story, because they're so brilliant, and it'll depress you a little bit. It'll depress you a little bit where you'll just think like, "Wow, I'll just never be this good of a writer." You know what? Some of us can accept that. We know that that's not our strength. It's not what we wanna do. This is again, a hobby, a me thing. It's something I'm just doing to not really exercise some demons, but, I just felt like I got to a point where I was like, "This story won't leave my head the best way, I think." It's like when you got a song stuck in your head, you gotta make Amazon Music play it for you. I swear they're not a sponsor. It's kinda funny. But you gotta hear Amazon Music play it for you, and you know what? You just do it to get it out of your head. That's kinda how I feel about this story. So it hasn't changed the way that I think I read, but I can definitely see now that professional authors, why they won't read the same genre that they write because it's just too hard. It's definitely too hard to differentiate them. Judge McCullough Carl gets everything you like in book 5. I know. I feel like every time I finish a book, someone tells me, "Well, the next one." But I have gotten I did buy the next book. I have bought it, so it's gonna happen. But, yeah, it was a little deflating when book 4, I was like, "Really? Just another book of batshit crazy fight, power up, blah, blah, blah," and it's kind of a bummer. Mike, you helped me get back into reading at 15 years old. He convinced me to read Lonesome Dove, We Are the Dead, Red Rising, and on and on. Thanks. Well, thank you for saying. So happy I could help, man. So many people who don't realize how much they miss reading. They used to do it, or they were forced to do it in high school and they liked it, but they're like, I don't want to do it anymore. And they get back to it and they're like, what's great about reading? Is in my head, these movies can have any budget. They can have any actor in the role I want to play. It's amazing. You don't have to worry about stuff like that. It's obviously it's the best use of imagination, and it makes our brains work. Again, you're not just sitting here brain rotting all the time, just droning over our devices. Making your brain work, man, is important. I think it's what helps breed creativity, makes us want to be more socially available. And so that's why I'm glad that people are reading. Absolutely glad. It's the best thing out there. What do I need to snap out of, sir? Am I rambling again? Because I do that a lot. You guys have been here this long. You know I can ramble with the best of them. Might not always be coherent, but I'll definitely try to snap out. Coke or Pepsi? I don't care. Either's fine. Again, you find that I'm not a brand loyalist. I like there may be some that I prefer or whatever, but we have both in my fridge right now because they have one at Sam's, they have one at Costco. We do both. I will drink Pepsi. My wife does not care for it at all. She says it's a Yankee drink, and I'm like, anyway. So no, but I like both. It doesn't really matter to me. Zero sugar though, only. Also, that happened to me when I wrote my first book. My first book is literally a romance novel, but I normally write stories like King. Yeah, yeah, I can see that being tough and kind of invading your space while you're trying to write it. Did you watch the Monkey adaptation by King? Yeah, it was awful. I thought it was bad. I thought that King had a really great third renaissance in cinema this year, but man, oh my god, I thought the Monkey just was one of the bad ones. Life of Chuck, Long Walk, amazing, amazing adaptations of his books. The monkey, I was like, something about the tone just never landed. Like, are you trying to be slapstick or not? And maybe realize like Oz Perkins is just not a director for me. After the monkey and long legs, I think I'm done. I think I'm done. Spitz says, no, but for real, I felt the exact same way about Jungle Carl Carl, and book five ended up as my number two, the Terrier. Very, very good. It'll make you cry. Okay, that's the kind of stuff I need to hear. That's the kind of stuff I need to hear. Not, oh, well, you'd like it better if you listen to the audiobooks. You know, that's the kind of stuff I need to hear. I appreciate that. Brian got me into Sandman Slim. Have you tried the series yet? No, it is on the short list, but not yet. Not yet. But yeah, with Brian urging me to do it, yeah, that or Eric Carter, both are probably going to happen in the future, no doubt. I went for a shower and came back and you're still talking. I mean, I can do that. I usually do these for, 3 hours as long as you guys are talking to me, that's all. I used the wrong movie quote. That's from Moonstruck, not When Harry Met Sally. Seriously, that was happens to the best of us. Like, I think that's probably how my wife feels, is I will just use random movie quotes in our conversation all the time, and she knows at this point, after almost 20 years together, just let it fly over. Just let it fly over. She's never probably gonna get it, but that's okay, man. It just gives you all the more reason to watch When Harry Met Sally. Watch it again. It's good for you. Do I think I'll read any self-published unknown author books this year? I never say never. Like I say, I try to plan ahead. Right now, I don't have anything really on the schedule, but that can and will change. The course of 12 months, a lot can happen. Sometimes the person who needs the story you're writing is you. Writing is a fun hobby. Glad you're doing it. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. Like I said, it's nice, I think, for us to have hobbies that we don't have to be great at. Like, I'll see people all the time be like, you know what? I love to paint and I'm a terrible painter, but it makes me happy. Yeah, that's what hobbies should be, man. Hobbies shouldn't be a competition. Hobbies shouldn't be something that you just show off on TikTok. It needs to be something that makes you happy because we all need that, man. I mean, we're all got to get out of our routine of our daily lives of working all the time, grinding, taking care of kids. You got to have something to make you have some fun. If it's building model cars or playing a piano, no matter what it is, even if you're not good at it, man, you don't have to be good at a hobby to enjoy doing it. I wouldn't say necessarily that I'm calling writing a hobby because it's not like I have ideas for another story or something, but it could be the beginning of that. You never know. Georgia girl loves Coke. Pepsi is a Yankee drink. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I mean, I'm from Atlanta originally, so I'm all about a bit the world of Coca Cola and all that. Do you feel like there is like a little bit of like state pride or something like that with it? But I was just like my folks were Yankees. They moved to Georgia from Ohio. So I think that's where I got the Pepsi from. My dad loved Pepsi. So to me, it was just like as a kid, if I was getting a cold, I didn't care what it was. Bring it on, bring it all on. Whereas my wife, yes, my wife is a Dr. Pepper girl. Or she's from Texas, so she's all about Dr. Pepper. A lot can happen in 12 months. You guys will find out here very, very soon. Very excited for you guys to read the next Dresden book. Why not start Michael Moorcock, the Eternal Champion, Elric, Corum, Runestaff, and Castle Brass? Really, really short books. I should definitely do Elric. I have all those nice new hardcover re-releases they did. I should definitely do that. Am I a Twilight Zone fan? You better believe it, man. Oh my god. Jeez, the thing about the Twilight Zone is you go and watch it now, you're like, holy shit, this is dark for the 1960s. I mean, gosh, where to start? There are so many damn good ones, even if I can't think of them by names. I mean, The Man on the Wing is probably the most famous one. Uh, Jeez, I think there's one where the guy he just wants everybody to like go away so he can like read all the time, and then the nuclear bombs drop, and he's like locked in the safe at the bank when the nuclear bombs drop, so he survives, and he's happy when he comes out. Everyone's gone, everyone's dead except him, and so he can finally use all this time to read, and then his glasses break, and he can't read the books. So messed up, man. But yeah, Twilight Zone. I think you'll watch a lot of those, and not only when you see these have aged incredibly well, and a lot of them were social commentary and fear of like outer space and the bomb dropping and stuff at the time. But you'll see that a lot of stuff that we like today took so much influence from Twilight Zone. They've aged great. The Blu-rays, if you can get Blu-rays, they're a decent price. Do it. The transfers are incredible. They look brand new, and there's just something about Sterling's introductions and the way that black and white film pops. It's just there's nothing like it, man. I love the Twilight Zone. Another super chat. Thank you. I thought I said Ahsoka. Ashio Katano. Well, I'm going to try for reading Memory Star and Thorn this year. I love the Ethelland series. I definitely recommend it. I'd love to do Ethelland, but I got honey decked by everyone on my Discord telling me that Last King of ℙ𝕦𝕤𝕣𝕔𝕙𝕤 was as good, if not better, than Memory Star and Thorn. So that made me decide to shelve Ethelland and continue with ℚ𝕦𝕤𝕣𝕉 instead. Yeah, Time Enough at Last. Great episode. Yeah, Time Enough. Is that what that's the one I'm talking about? It's called. I mean, again, put me on the spot. I can't think of somebody with the nurses with like the messed up faces and stuff. I mean, there's so many just like nightmare fuel inducing episodes of Twilight Zone. There's so many. The one guy that he will see like he's like a soldier and he sees like their faces like light up with this glare and he knows that means that they're going to die. And then like the end of the episode, he's shaving. He looks in the mirror and sees the glow in his face shine. And he sees the guy who comes to pick him up. He sees his face shining. He knows he's about to die. Dark shit, man. God, Twilight Zone's so good. They're 20 minutes too, man. You should watch any of them you can. They're so good. I should watch them with the kids. They're like, this is messed up shit. It's like, really, this stuff came out in the 1960s. This is crazy. Amazing, amazing stuff they did on Twilight Zone at that time period. Now you make me just want to go. Forget this. I'm gonna watch Twilight Zone the rest of the day, man. So say, Ryan. Yeah, NFL playoff times are almost here. How do you think the Giants are going to do this year? Hey, I'm glad we got your pick for Jackson Dart, though. Yeah, yeah. I hope Jackson Dart works out. I hope you guys actually land a good coaching hire. I don't think Dayball was terrible. I just think you need to fire your general manager, honestly. But what do I know? What do I know? Hey, a new member, ring the bell. Thank you. I can't say that name, but thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Really awesome of you. Being a member helps us out immensely here. I appreciate you guys. Do I like peanuts in the cake? I thought you were talking about peanuts, like Charlie Brown, Snoopy. Peanuts in the Coke. I thought it said cake. Peanuts in the Coke. No, absolutely not. No, 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 no. It's just weird. It's just weird. Only thing I would ever add to Coke is like a lime. No, absolutely not. Well, it's a new year. I've had 9 days off of work. That's exciting. But that's what this time of year is for. I think recharge the batteries a little bit, get you some family time in. And like I said, I think that being creative, doing something, a hobby or something, it really, really will help your mood. It really will because you'll feel like you're doing something, even if you're the only one who ever sees it. It'll help you feel like you're doing something outside the norm. And I love routine. I mean, it's something I've always done, but it can drag on you after a while. It can wear thin. So make sure you're taking care of your brain. I think that's a good way to do it. Reading, writing, whatever works for you. There's lots of things we can be doing to help ourselves out in that regard. Go. Because of Ben Johnson, started watching Bears over 9 years. 9 years. Yeah, he's been as advertised, right? He's been pretty good. And it started a little shaky, but yeah, what can you ask for? In a tough division, you guys won the division. His first year. That's looking at what happened to the Lions. You're starting to wonder, did the real talent walk out the door with him and Aaron Glenn? Well, maybe not Aaron Glenn, but did the real talent walk out the door? You never know. Never know. That's like adding a pickle to Dr. Pepper. Peanuts and a Coke. People put peanuts in Coca-Cola. That's madness. People like salt. They like that salty taste that does. But yeah, no, it's not for me. Babylon 5, absolutely the best, no doubt. Babylon 5 is incredible storytelling. You can get past some of the aged 90s special effects. That show's storyline is, I'll put it up with any science fiction series out there, no doubt. Happy New Year, debating between Small Town Horror and Godblind from the next audiobook read. Which one would you recommend to start first? Well, I do enjoy both. Small Town Horror, you're going to get through in about 6 or 7 hours. Godblind is 3 books, but I definitely think it's worth the trip. Godblind is it's one of those where I tell you, make sure you're in a good place because it's one of those where it's just like every time you think your characters have just been beat to shit, Anna Steva, she'll kick them. She'll kick them again. I said in my review for that, it's like just getting repeatedly punched in the nuts over and over again. That's that series. There's not a lot of good things that happen to the characters. So if you can't handle the characters really just getting, just being beaten down and then just hit over the head with a hammer, might not be the series for you. But it's very brutal. It's very good. I liked it a lot. But Small Town Horror is great. Amazing ending. Amazing ending. You've never heard of Babylon 5. Okay. Well, now you have. It's a great, great show. It's one of those at the time where I was starting to get a little stale with like Star Trek, and it did some things that were a little different than Star Trek. I thought it really focused on the characters, this overarching thing. And it did the long form storytelling. With Star Trek would always just be like monster of the alien of the week, planet of the week, that kind of thing. It did the serialized thing where it's like we're going to have those episodes where we're also have real long story arcs that would go multiple seasons. In the Shadow War, one of the best things I've ever seen on TV. There was a point where Babylon 5 was so good that I like had to take a break some weeks because I was like, it's just too much right now. Like the story was just too good. Like, is any you ever watched anything that was like too good? You had to stop because it was too good. That was Babylon 5 in its heyday. It was ahead of its time. And then Deep Space Nine completely ripped it off, but Deep Space Nine was really good. Deep Space Nine was really good too. I feel about the college football transfer portal kind of the same way I do about NIL. It's just like I've always felt like, yes, these athletes deserve something when these colleges and these coaches are getting millions and millions and millions of dollars. But you think about it, this is what these kids want to do for a career, and you're not going to get a chance to play where you're out. I get it, man. If you're not going to get a chance to play, you're not going to get to go to the NFL. So you need the best chance. You need to go where it is the best chance for you to play, especially when a coach will come and recruit you, and you'll think you're going to be with that coach forever, and then they Lane Kiffin you, and you're just stuck there as a redshirt freshman, and the coach who commits you to go there leaves. Yeah, you should have the opportunity to leave. I think. Right? I'm hoping it's good in a way that Georgia has us went over by halftime. That would be great. We could do that. Texas give me enough stress week to week. I don't need it from the dogs too. I have only read Bernard Cornwell's Warlord Chronicles, and I love it. I love it. Warlord Chronicles is just fantastic. I think I've read the first book in Last Kingdom, but not enough to say that I prefer it. But no, the Warlord Chronicles is S tier. I love it. Even if you're not into the Arthurian legend, I think you probably like that series. I really appreciate you warn people about books that might be depressing if we're currently in a bad place. I think it's important. It's really, really important, man, because if you're spiraling, you need to do something to get yourself out of it. And reading a grimdark book, probably not the best plan. So when I tell people all the time, good and the bad, I'm like, it might not necessarily be bad, but you just need to know. You need to know that some of these books are some really dark content, and make sure you got some Office episodes or something lined up after you finish. That'd probably be the best idea. Olivia Newton-John, she's great. She's great. You guys like Grease? Grease is a great movie, isn't it? Grease is a really great movie. I think it's one of those that, like, our parents and my generation love just as much. Grease, spectacular. Been listening to that soundtrack a lot recently too. So I think that's why it's hit me with some Olivia Newton-John right now. I don't mind. She's a great singer. Great, great singer. Black satin pants. Black satin pants. Olivia Newton-John. Peanut butter and jelly. Really is. All right. I'm starting Boys Life to kick off the new year. I've only heard good things. I mean, yeah, what else can I say? Boys Life is one of those where I feel like on a different path of the beam, that was a Stephen King story. That's how good it is. I mean, that's the highest compliment I can give is that that's the first time since reading Stephen King that I felt like this guy gets how kids think. He really is taking you in that. He is taking you back in time to a time machine to your childhood with that book. It's really, really good. Not too big on Grease. Oh, well, not for everybody, I guess. If you're not into musicals, obviously it's not going to work for you. But man, so addictive. I've seen Grease Lightning like nonstop. Love Grease, the first album I bought. I love to torment my wife because while she loves that movie, she cannot stand Sandy, baby. So I make sure I sing it all the time. Why? So fun. I love it. I think it's time. It's high time for a rewatch of Grease, no doubt. Make sure I turn the speaker all the way up to 11 when he gets to that song. It's amazing. I'm still married sometimes. Oh, she puts up with a lot, and I love her for it. Well, damn, King Scarlet's on sale for $6.99. I'm in trouble on Kobo today. There you go, guys. There's your opportunity. Jump on. Jump on. Well, I'm listening to Olivia Newton-John sing right now. It makes me want to sing, baby. Hey, see, it's not for everybody, but what happens? My Instagram messed up. I don't think so. Let me turn this off so I can get a million college football messages. I didn't get still here for me. I'm still here. I'm still here. I haven't been canceled yet. I don't think. I hope it's okay. I'm always waiting for that though. I'm always waiting for that. No, 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 no. You're going too far there. You can't love Grease, but also like Grease too. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. That's like saying you like Saturday Night Fever, but you also like Staying Alive. No, 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 no. No. Come on, come on, come on. The Star Wars book about the rise of Palpatine is extremely underrated. One of the darkest books I've ever read, and really well written. I'm not sure which one it's called. Is that in the new canon or is that in the old canon? Because it matters. Have you read the Phantom of the Opera book? Read it 24? No, but I've went and seen the Broadway show twice. I love the movie. I love the old horror movie as well. So I love the musical. I love the Rodgers and Hammerstein of Phantom of the Opera, but I don't. I haven't actually read it. Mm-mm. All right, let's see. Let me roll back a little bit before I kind of do the last run here. So we'll be hitting 3 hours here soon. My voice is wavering. That's why you guys are laughing at me attempting to sing here. You know? Does it? Okay. Well, Grease 2 has Rex Man. That's Michelle Pfeiffer. That doesn't help. Didn't help. If Michelle Pfeiffer can't get you there, nothing can get you there. Michelle Pfeiffer. You still my heart. Murphy Napier loved the novelization of Revenge of the Sith. You should call her and tell her about the expanding universe books. We tried to get something together, actually, Murphy and I, a collaboration deal. I was gonna try to do like an end of the year awards kind of thing where we both just kind of like rapid fire our end of the year awards. We just couldn't make the logistics work. So we just plan to do that next year. So I love any opportunity I get to work with Murphy. She's booked through royalty. Yeah, she really is. But yeah, I'll definitely encourage her to read the Thrawn trilogy if she hasn't. I mean, I tell people all the time, the Thrawn trilogy is the real 7, 8, and 9, no doubt. I love the Darth Jar Jar theory, 'cause I thought him being an idiot on purpose was funny, but I never actually believed it. Nah, I never believed. Remember everybody leading up to Force Awakens, they thought that, Kylo Ren was gonna be Luke Skywalker. Remember that? I was like, "Yeah, okay, no. Mark Hamill's way too short to be, Kylo Ren." Okay, so it is Darth the book is Darth Plagueis. Yeah, no, I get told a lot to read Darth Plagueis, no doubt, no doubt. Were there any books that help get your kids into reading? No, my kids don't wanna read. They've got better stuff to do. My oldest, I think he'll be an audiobooker because I read to him a lot, and, he loved Percy Jackson. Listening to me read Percy Jackson was a blast for him. He became a super fan of Percy Jackson. He liked it so much more than Harry Potter. So, but we watched all the Harry Potter movies recently, and he really liked those, but, he absolutely really dug Percy Jackson, so I tried over the summer, like, he's reading Maze Runner right now for school, which I love, him reading the Maze Runner, that's excellent. But ever doing it on his own, no, he's not interested. He's got too many options. I think when I was a kid, if I had Netflix, endless video games, and iPad, I probably wouldn't have read either, but it's one of those things I don't wanna force on them, but all the time, we'll be like, "Okay, that's it. Technology time's over," and they'll just walk around like just lost puppies, like they don't know what to do, and it breaks my heart a little bit. I tried to make them a deal this summer, and I told my oldest, I was like, "Look, you really like these How to Train Your Dragon movies. You're all into the mythology, you're into the lore of these dragons. It's like a lot farther than I expected it to be." It's like, "I'm thinking about reading Aragon again, the series. I think you'd really like it. So would you be interested?" And every night we like read a chapter and then we talk about it the next day or every other day, something like that. Just something low maintenance, not a big deal. He wasn't interested. I would have killed if one of my parents had told me, "Hey, let's read The Hobbit together," but he's just not interested. And again, I can't force him. It's a shame. Is that what I gotta do? I gotta pay him $5 per book, cost me about 10, 15 bucks a month, money well spent. That's a pro parent move right there. I think that's good. I think that's good. Maybe I should start being like, I tell you what, you read 3 chapters, I'll buy you a pack of Pokemon cards. I think maybe he might actually go for that. That's yeah, man. Appreciate it. See, that's why it's important for us to have a community, not just for books, but also a dad community, because we're all rookies at this, man. We all make mistakes. You get to that feeling at a certain point in life with your kids, 13 and 10 now. You start thinking, they are who they are. No, no, they're not. No, they're not. You can still learn some new things, and that's a pro move. I like that a lot. I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. They may not want to read, but I'm going to send them both books when my new middle grade one comes out. Awesome, Momo. Appreciate that. Yeah. Uh, I remember my youngest, he did like the Dogman books there for a little bit, or my oldest, he did the Dogman books when they were earlier. And then I got to the point where I was like, you're just looking at the pictures, aren't you? You're not reading the story. But yeah, yeah, it is what it is. I'll try to. If they become audiobookers, that's fine. I can accept that. As long as they're using their brains a little bit, I think that we'll all be happy in the end. But yeah, that's my buzzer going off here. That's been 3 hours, so I think I'm gonna roll here. But I appreciate you guys so much for hanging with me, especially if you stayed the whole time, man. It's been a blast. I hope I was able to answer most of your questions. I'll try to do these more frequently. Now that we did a whole stream, and I don't think I had any technical problems here. Hopefully, I can make these the norm again. It'd be really really cool. But again, I hope you guys had a great New Year, and I hope you guys will stick around for the year. It'd be fun to have you around. If you want to join the read along for Magician, again, I got the link to the Discord down below. If you haven't joined, please hop on over there, and someone can help you find the read along thread. It'd be a ton of fun to have you. So you guys be good, behave, do all that stuff, and enjoy going back to work next week, like me. And I'll talk to you guys very soon. Have a good weekend.